Welcome back. It is literally the highlight of my month when we come out here and we do Access Vegas. Rollo Tomasi is back in town. We are going to get into it and introduce our guests. She is a former guest on the Michael Sartain podcast. She is one of the top creators on the planet on OnlyFans. Please welcome Miss Brandy Andrews. That's right. There we go. If you don't know who she is, trust me, your man already subscribes to her. Beautiful. She is from Charleston, South Carolina. She is a model, a cocktail server, all here around Las Vegas. She's a Vegas local right now. This is Olivia Bertani. How you doing, Olivia?
Hi, Michael.
Hey, what's going on? Give Olivia a big round of applause. Nice. Very good. She's from Kalama, Washington. She's the rarest form. She's a working actress. Get the fuck out of here. That's correct. She's a runway model, and she's a cigar salesman. Is that correct? Yes. That is Catherine Taylor. Awesome. Yes. And she has almost no social media at all.
Cue chat jokes now.
There we go. I love it. All right. She's an adult performer, a featured dancer, and she is the host of Green Room Radio. It is Domo Monster. What's going on?
What's up? What's up?
Hey, love to have you out here. And she's a performance and mindset coach, and she's a YouTube content creator. Please welcome Miss Lucy Newmeyer. How you doing, Lucy?
I'm good. How are you?
Beautiful. Hey, good to have everybody. So we have one more guest, Azel. She's going to be coming here a little bit later. She's also like she's big, heavy into real estate and some stuff like that. So we wanted to have a very one of the things I pointed out was that Catherine has almost no social media following, and Brandy has 1 million followers. So I wanted to get like a very, very wide spectrum. Does anybody here have a graduate degree? Anybody? No? Usually we have somebody, at least one person. You have a graduate degree. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. So let's talk about this before we get into it, because a lot of people are probably going to ask, you somehow got Dr. Phil canceled.
Yeah,
Go.
Kingslayer. No, I did a Dr. Phil show on November 15th of this year. So it just, the show, the first part of the show just aired on the 27th, which was last Friday. And the topic, ostensibly, was supposed to be about the crisis of masculinity, and the title of the show was The Demise of Guys. How cute, right? Nice alliteration, guys. Good work, producers. So it was really more or less a let's talk about Andrew Tate video for about the first, I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes. And then, things unfolded from there. I mean, I don't think if you guys have questions about it, I'm happy to answer. But the purpose of it was to just basically talk about, sort of the crisis of masculinity and what's going on with guys who are sort of like the dropout generation or the Lost Boys generation, I guess, depending on who you listen to. And I was on there, and I was cautiously optimistic when I went on, because I realized it was their show, and I hadn't, we did the after action report that we had to take off, but now I'm thinking maybe we can put it back on, because Dr. Phil, only 4 days after the show, decided that he was going to leave the business.
And he had to do that because of Tom Brady.
Yeah. So after 21 seasons, 21 years, and 21 seasons and 90 episodes, I guess. In that season, he's decided to hang up his hat. He's going to do other things too, but like Dr. Phil, I
think he's worth $400 million.
$460 million.
You want to know what's funny? Here's the funniest thing. You guys will appreciate this. Do you guys remember Danielle Bergoli? She is she's probably the top producer on all of OnlyFans. She's a Catch Me Outside girl.
Catch me out.
As soon as she turned 18, she started an OnlyFans, and she made $50 million in 1 year. She was asked by the University of Oxford in the UK to come out and speak, and she came out and spoke. And the reality of the situation is she is now more famous than Dr. Phil. Yeah. That is the funniest part of this whole thing. And even though Dr. Phil is worth $400 million, I doubt he made $50 million in 1 year. So she now makes more money than Dr. Phil, even though the whole point of the show was Dr. Phil trying to show her up, trying to tell her what a bad girl she was and how she's going to be a fucking failure in life.
I think sometimes he gets out of his element.
Well, I think,
and this was one of my show was definitely one of those times, but certainly that time as well. Somebody, it was on was it on eBomb, the website eBomb, the blog, whatever. As soon as that story dropped, they dropped an article about like how he was leaving the industry, and then it was like 5 or 6 times where he really screwed the pooch, and so one of them was that right there. I'm kind of hoping I'll get number 8.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyways, there's supposed to be a second part to it. I'm not sure that's going to happen now, but if it does, I'll let you know. The producers haven't told me, given me a date. In fact, I had to wait for like 2.5 months, over 2.5 months for this one. So they shoot quite far out. So there's no guarantee I'm going to be on for a second time. But even my haters said I did pretty good on it. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then right after that, just this morning, I got informed that Fox News had picked up on clips of it, and they were talking about me, and they were talking about the part where I was what was I talking about? I was talking about the crisis of men and
So-
being sedated.
So what
and
you
all
said
that stuff.
specifically was the only time masculinity is celebrated in Hollywood is when The Rock dresses up in a dress.
For the tooth fairy, like in a tutu, right? That's what they took issue. I'm Tucker Carlson still here. I that was actually one very brief part of the show. There's so many good like little gems in that I was hoping we're going to make it that didn't, and then the other ones that did, I'm like, oh yeah. Or, now it's like 3 months later, I'm remembering it. But that on that particular time, he was hitting me up. If you'll notice in people have seen it already, he's got the notebook in front of him the whole time, and they don't have a script, but they do have an outline. And so they have to get to certain topics and certain questions like at a certain time in the show, and they've got like a clock running. And so one of those was, of course, they go through my shows and they want to ask me and try to put me on the spot, give me those gotcha questions, right? Which I've been answering for 20 plus years. You can't get me, Dr. Phil, or producers.
Isn't it funny how that works? Like that.
We're gonna get him on this.
Well, no, shout out to Ruslan for doing the debate.
Do
with
you
me.
know who I am?
Ruslan did a debate with me on Monday. And I almost felt like they were going to try to get me and Torsia, and I was like, "This is what I do for a living. No one's going to ever get me. Like, it's not that I'm like, you're never going to be like, oh, okay, you're right, I give up. Like, it doesn't work like that. People are entrenched in their own belief system, just like Dr. Phil is, and so he's going to go in there. And I didn't appreciate the way it was edited, all the fucking all the dramatic shit in there.
Well, the other part says
mainstream.
like the very end of it, and like it jumps around because I know the progression, nobody else does. I'm like, oh my god, how did they push the? It's a patchwork of video edits, but overall, I thought I did pretty good. And even like I said, even my haters can go, he's just an egotistical son of a bitch, but he's kind of right, So I did that, and then of course the Fox News article came out today, and then what they were asking about was, of course, when I was discussing, in fact, maybe that's a good question to start with, or a good topic to start with, is the idea that masculinity is only really celebrated, or it's only really recognized when guys are acting feminine.
So let's talk about this before we get to that point. One of the things, because Domo, you are familiar with the show, but the rest of you might not be familiar with the show. This show is about evolutionary psychology and intersexual dynamics. Brandon, you've been on my podcast, so you understand that what the stuff we talk about. It's a scientific view of how men and women deal with each other, and so that's essentially what it is. I don't leave there. Like I am just at the evolutionary psychology level, and the derivative of that being like red pill, which is all these guys who are watching.
A lot of aspects.
The 500 guys who are watching us right now, that would be that group. So here, I'll give you guys an example. The average number, all of you individually, just put up with your hands, the average number of sexual partners a man in the United States has during his entire life. Can you guys go ahead and put it up? Individual of each other. I don't want you to wait for each other.
Don't answer, Doma. You go last, and you already know the answer.
Average man.
Or the average men that we know.
No, not the average guy you know. And we can. By the way, we can go over that, Brandy, too.
That's actually a good.
We're not talking about porn men, right?
The average guy, the average North American male. Go. What do you think? Put your hands up. What do you think? You think it's? She
put
thinks
it on
it's
one
8.
hand.
So you think it's more than 2?
No, I think it's more than 2.
More than that. What do you think it is?
I don't have enough hands.
Yeah, that's it.
I was gonna say
That's
20.
fine.
Can I use
I would say 45.
45. 4 to 5. 45. 45.
4 2
Wait,
5.
hold on. We're saying the body count
in their whole life.
When they die, how many bodies do they have on them? Their whole life.
Lifetime body count.
Brady, what do you think?
Lifetime sex partner.
Like 20?
20. What do you think?
I was gonna say
20.
20.
What do you think?
25. I think it's like 15.
15. What do you think?
I have a feeling it's low. I'm gonna guess 8.
Wait, if you said hands, I feel like you're implying that we could show it on our hands.
Maybe. What do you think?
I'm gonna say 40.
Okay, 40. So
You get
now,
bonus points for that,
I
though.
want to point this out because the reason why I want to point this out is because she is from Charleston, South Carolina. And the rest of you have lived for a long time in Las Vegas, Nevada. No, where did you live
Nevada.
before?
I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay, so people fuck there too. Sorry. Let's be real, okay? Shout out to Justin Waller. So
Like, in what generation are we talking about?
the
Yeah.
most recent one, Brandon, get closer to the microphone. So the most currently now, like men dying now, like how what's their average
men
body
dying
count?
now. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like social media era.
No, even
Because
with
that
social
changes
media.
body
There's a
counts big
crisis
time.
going on right now.
Okay,
Isn't
so
there?
there we go. So thank you for the Catherine. That's why
that was
that's
an opener.
that's why we have a show. So the reality is the number is 6. The number is 6. For women, it is. Anyone want to guess? For 6?
10.
Huh? 10? What do you think? Throw a number up. What do you-
3.
3?
I don't know.
What do you think?
5.
5? What do you think?
I'm gonna say it's higher. It's probably gonna be around like 7.
7?
8.
It's 4 for women.
They lied.
Yeah.
All right. So
Not the
before you
whole
say what you're going to say,
thing,
okay. So that's CDC numbers or
It's U.S. Census.
census numbers.
Yeah. Okay. So U.S. Census is the one that comes up with these
Because
numbers.
there's a lot of people that do a lot of polls that have a lot of different numbers, but we're going with this.
We're going with this one. So here's the thing: the top 5%, I believe, for men is 50 women that they slept with. The top 5% for women is like 35. I could be wrong. Somebody could look that up. But it's not that many. Like in order to get like 35, been with 35 men, that puts you in the top 5%. You guys are like, what are you talking about? Because you're not remembering Waco, Texas. Because you're not remembering Des Moines, Iowa. Because you're not remembering Nome, Alaska. Because you're not remembering Grand Forks, North Dakota. That's the reason why you guys your numbers are 20, 30. She's from Charleston, South Carolina.
I fuck guys from Waco.
I'm sure you have, but the problem is the guys. And also, you grew up in fucking Houston. The problem is, and by the way, Houston would be different. It would be kind of the same thing. The issue is you guys are exposed to different things than the majority of people are, and so I just thought that was interesting that you thought it was 8 and the rest of you thought it was like 15 or 20.
Well, don't get it twisted. Everyone's kind of a hoe in Charleston too.
They?
Everyone's an Eskimo brother in Charleston.
People who are dying today also didn't have social media.
Say it again.
People who are dying today that they're like basing this off of didn't have social media.
Well,
so like it was harder to like find people to hook up with.
Sure.
Well, this is a general. I mean, it's a crisis right now. Crisis. I mean, like people aren't getting laid, but
Santa Maria.
but there was also a study that came out that actually, I mean, intercourse in general is like at an all-time low, and
It can turn into a crisis
from our lack of social interaction. Obviously, we just went through a pandemic, and people are staying in their houses. In theory, not in Vegas,
but now you don't
in
have
other
to leave your
places.
house to get laid. You just text someone to come over because you're on.
No,
Instagram.
Brandy
You do.
Andrews, you do, you do.
So like DoorDash?
None of the rest. No dude who's in
Shit,
the
I
chat
want
right now is doing that. None of
No
them.
dude's on it. No dude in this chat's on Instagram and just messaging a girl like, hey, like Tinder, like, like Tinder.
Brandy, if
come
I
over.
showed you that 95% of the dudes who are on here right now, their Instagram. First off, half of them don't have an Instagram. Yeah,
Here
for
we
sure.
go.
And the other part of them have no idea how to. It's those weird photos of them like with a fucking flannel on, like blurry photo of them at a college football game drinking beer with like 4 other dudes. That's what they put on their Instagram. No, Brandy. The problem is we live in Vegas, and all the dudes here are shaped by all the as iron sharpens iron, so men sharpen other men. All the dudes here are in such competition with each other. They're all taking roids. Every one of the dudes here is like fucking tatted up, like jacked. It's different because we're here in Vegas, and the men are more competitive. The reality of the situation is like what you said before. Yes, I think VIP hosts in the city 200-300 women, 500 women that they slept with easily. But the average for the country is 6. Right? That's the thing. So you were talking about the crisis before, right? So the percentage. So what happens if you look at the scale? If you guys want to look this up, it's in the Washington Post, and it is a survey they did. It's I believe the University of Chicago did this, and it's the GSS survey. The GSS survey basically showed the number of sexual partners that people had in a year, and by age group. For women, it went from like 16% to 18% from the time of, or the number of people that didn't have any sexual partners in a year went from like 16% to 18% in the last 10 years for women. It went from like 12% to 33% for men.
That didn't have?
33% of men right now from 18 to 30 have 0 sexual partners.
Then who are these
I mean, now
women
you can
sleeping
agree
with
it's
that
men,
only
right?
have
Like-
like 2%?
What's happened is, here's the funny thing. For women, the number of amount of sex women has had over the last decade has not changed. But for men, there's a group of men who have had 0 sexual partners. That number keeps rising, which means there's a group of men at the top who are having all the sex.
Oh,
Like
it's way
ridiculous.
worse than that too. I have new data for this. I dug up a lot of new stuff.
So we want to
So
go.
you need to get these guys on social media and you need to show them how to take a good selfie.
Exactly, or 30 selfies.
Crisis
Thank
solved.
you. Thank you.
Or we can go meet people in person.
Yeah, but
Unbelievable.
so that's the thing. They don't have the capability to meet people in person. Here's the reason why. Olivia, you since the time you were 14 have been approached by men, and because of that. Also, because you have nothing to risk, you're pretty female. Guys come up and talk to you. You don't have to come up and talk to them. And when you have social interactions, you're not worried about a guy rejecting you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
More men have approached you in your entire life than they've approached me and Rollo in our entire lives from the time you were 14 to 19. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're more calibrated to that situation in real life interactions. What are men doing now?
Hiding.
They're hiding. They're playing video games. What else are they addicted to? What are men addicted to now? OnlyFans, pornography.
That's since the dawn of time, though. So.
No, but not like it is now. When I grew up in the 1980s, we had to look at a fucking shoebox in the fucking woods with Frederick to Hollywood in it. That's what we had to jerk off in the fucking woods. Are you kidding me? The kids right now are 12 years old looking at bukkake videos. Are you crazy? It's not the same at all. It's not the same at all.
I have some new numbers. I got some new numbers here for you, Mr. Sartain.
Okay, but do that, and then we'll get back to the whole tutu thing.
All right, so here we go. So this is a recent survey. Now, granted, the problem with stuff like this is it's what's called a qualitative study, not a quantitative study. We're not dealing with numbers and hard statistics. We're dealing with self-reported. Unless you can put monitors in people's bedrooms and say, "Oh, you fucked today," and then that and put you on a spreadsheet or Excel spreadsheet. Unless that's happening, then it's always going to be sort of on your honor, right, to report an honest number. So that's why it's like I started this out by saying we're using CDC numbers and not say Huffington Post.
Yeah.
So I've got a new survey here that says the national average is actually 14.8.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Overall for everyone. Okay.
I believe that.
Okay. So now, but this is where it gets really funny, and you're going to love this. States with the highest average number of has the highest notch count. Which state do you think the people in that state have the highest notch count?
Florida.
Florida, really? Florida's at the bottom of the list.
Really?
Yeah,
Texas.
It still made the top 10, but at the top 10.
Here's the reason why. Because Florida has a bunch of Tallahassees. Well, Tallahassee's a bad example.
Okay,
it's a college town.
So top 10.
It's a lot of Florabamas and little country podunk-ass town.
Florida's number 10.
You're saying I was going to love this?
Yeah.
I would say Washington?
Yes, Washington is at the top of the list. I'll give you number 1 right away. Washington is at the top of the list. Do you know what the highest average number in Washington is?
What?
54.8.
That's the average?
Yes.
I don't know if I believe that.
Well, it has the highest concentration of single mothers, and it also has you correct me if I'm wrong, but in Washington State, they stay indoors quite a bit there, don't they?
Are you being facetious?
No.
They go out all the time.
Yeah, it's an outdoorsy state.
Yeah, but I mean, doesn't it rain? It's cold and shit all the time.
Yeah, we put a coat on.
Well, I'm thinking, but if you got it, but if you stay indoors, okay. The logic being, if you stay indoors long enough, people are going to breathe.
People are indoors a lot.
Right. Well, yeah, and I mean, you have. It's a different culture in general, I feel like. Or at least where I was, you don't have the same kind of city dynamic. So I feel like, I grew up in a small town, and the idea is that you are knocked up by 18, I mean, you gotta test the waters.
Okay, so 54.8, that blew me away.
I need to see.
Okay, I'll read you. Okay, so but remember this. Okay, it's according to a survey response of 3,151 Americans. Okay, so that's a sample size right there.
We're liars.
Yeah. Well, by the way, the boys in Connecticut, the Savo brothers, you come in second at 31.0. Get after it.
It's those, you said the little podunk towns that don't have anything
that's all they have to do.
That's all they have to do out there.
But they're okay. So the national average though is offset by the states that get 2. Okay,
yeah.
So 58 might be 1, but the first lowest might be 2.
But other cities are busy, you're busy all day.
But Brandy, even if it's busy, dudes are in the 300-400s. Okay, and we're talking about 6 or 14.
I would think Florida would be up higher than that, but it's
Florida,
not.
Arizona, Texas.
I feel like Louisiana would be
all
high,
people do is drink and fuck.
York.
That's all they do.
Okay, so Connecticut, then New Mexico at 20.8.
I knew New Mexico.
Wisconsin at 19.4. Arkansas at 18.9. Georgia in at 18.6. Maryland at 18.4. Damn, you guys are doing a lot of fucking those. Kansas at Kansas.
Dorothy.
What else do you have to do in Kansas? 17.8, and Michigan is at 17.6. Okay, now here's the fun part. The states with the lowest average of partners, top 10 lowest states. What do you think the lowest?
It's going to be Texas, California, and Florida.
So
it's not going to make any sense.
California is not on either list.
Well,
They're right in the middle.
What's it called? Utah.
Pennsylvania.
Utah's not on the list.
That's crazy.
But I don't know. They can have more of them.
They'd be soaking in Utah, huh? Is that what you're trying to tell us? They'd be soaking in Utah, huh? Yeah, look up what soaking is on Urban Dictionary.
Okay,
soaking.
Number 10 at the bottom of the list. Number 10, which actually means they have the most of the lowest, is Oregon at 10.
That makes sense. Something's wrong here.
Washington
and Oregon.
What's the source here?
Yeah.
I'll put it up
they need a bigger survey.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably a bad survey, but I thought this was interesting, how they would spread this out. Also, I recently did a breakdown of Pornhub's stats for their, and maybe we can do that a little bit later on. I'll call it up, but it will blow you away that we have access, and this is quantitative like data. It's not like people self-reporting. They go, I see you. You're
Right.
you misspelled, that word, whatever you're looking for. Yeah. So anyways, the one with the lowest, the state with the lowest average is Pennsylvania at 8.3.
There you go.
There you go.
Those Eagles fans don't fuck anybody.
Yeah.
Right? They're also ugly. All right, so check it out.
Beating up on my quarterback.
Yeah, so that's funny. Yeah, that's really interesting. So, one of the things that we, learn in this from the intersexual dynamics thing is that what you were talking about before, there's just a lot of hopeless men. This is the crisis that you're talking about. What happened is if you look at the graph that I showed you, it starts down at the bottom around the time that the Facebook app was presented on the iPhone, which would have been 2007, 2008. Yeah. And from that point, the number of men with zero sexual partners skyrockets because they don't know how to deal with it. But the other thing that happens is that social media now takes that other group of men who do know how to talk to women and it gives them more access. So before, whereas like you and I, let's say it's 1985 and I go drag racing in my Mustang and then you got a rich kid who pulls up in a fucking Rolls Royce, he has an advantage over me. But it's only an advantage to the people who see the Rolls and who see the Mustang. You go to the club and then you're wearing this dress and another girl comes in and you're prettier than her. But only the people who see the two of you at the club does that affect. But for social media, it now becomes exponential. And now your 15% advantage becomes 15 to the 1 millionth power. Does that make sense? So that's essentially what happens. And so social media makes a small number of men have like unbelievable access to women and a large group of men have almost none. The number of men deemed unattractive on dating apps is what? What do you guys think? The percentage.
80%.
80%, what do you think? Percentage, like left swipes. The percentage of men deemed unattractive on dating apps.
It's probably higher than that, honestly.
Yeah.
What do you think?
70.
92, what do you think?
I think 75.
75, what do you think?
60.
It's funny because you guys get these accurate. It is 80% of the guys who are deemed unattractive. The top 10% of men on social media apps get 63% of the total right swipes. Consider that. Wow. 10% get 63 of all right swipes by all women. The top 20% of men get 83% of the right swipes. There's 20% of men getting 83% of the right swipes. For women, it's the top 43% of women that get 63% of the right swipes.
I'm going to go ahead and solve this crisis.
Go ahead.
Okay. Because what I've realized is on Instagram and Facebook and all these things, like there's not very many attractive men. But then when you get on TikTok, there's a lot of attractive men. They're not good at taking pictures. But then you see them in a video or something else and they're way more attractive.
I think
they just need to get better at taking pictures.
I think most attractive men just don't go on dating apps.
Well, most girls filter all their shit, so they don't really look like guys. Don't really use.
You don't think guys do that? Do guys don't? Well, okay. So
Not the way women do.
best looking guys there. Do you think that they filter it?
Not the way women do.
It's video though. So
like
it's a
guys,
little
like
different.
girls are using FaceApp and photoshopping their bodies and all this stuff. Like guys might throw a filter on, but they don't edit their photos the way we do. So it's easy to sit
sure
there.
about that?
I see more attractive women than men
Yes,
too,
yes,
but
no.
if I'm in person, no. Guys just need to get better about taking content.
So you think that they need to be more like concerned with like their personal looks and like?
I'm just
I think
saying
they
if
need
guys
fashion,
put
looks,
as much effort into their
photography.
content as women did, it would be more balanced.
Rollo, it's one step further. She's talking about the total content. Like I could literally Photoshop any outfit I want on me afterwards, and it's getting progressively easier because of FaceApp. I don't know if you guys have seen on your iPhone
Michael
now.
looks more like
You
he
can
does in
hold it.
person than any of us do from our photos, and I can just say that.
You need
bluntly,
to use
but-
FaceApp, my friend.
I do use FaceApp. In fact, I taught,
No,
I
you don't
taught
need
half
to,
the
but I'm
girls
just
here how to
saying-
use FaceApp.
I'm just saying, like based on like Tinder swipes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Men
so-
look more like themselves. Than
Don't
women
use the
do.
passion one. Use like the Hollywood.
No,
one.
man,
That's
I use
probably
yeah
better
for sure.
you.
Hollywood.
I
think you're a
3.
Hollywood guy.
Hollywood 3. That's me. Let me get this real quick, just because I have super chats and I don't really get them. I'm pretty flattered. Black Wolf said, "Let the games begin." And then Unmatched Warrior, thank you for the 1999. Michael, I'm 23-year-old male who hasn't had any sexual relationships since 2018. I've been working hard on myself, networking, fixing my Insta, etc. How can I start dating or leveraging my way to making female friends? So here's the problem, Unmatched Warrior. There's a lot more context that's necessary. You don't need to have a cool Instagram to have female friends. That's not necessarily a thing for that. First off, the first question I would ask for you is, do you have a bunch of guy friends? If you have guy friends and you want to have female friends, then you just do like what I do with Brandy. What up, motherfucker? That's how you do. You just talk to them the same. Everybody's the same. What up, homie? What are you doing? There we go. It's the same. I know it's very difficult, but you treat everyone the same and you make them talk about themselves. You get to become a really good conversationalist where everyone wants to tell you their life story. Bro, you'll have a ton of female friends. Then from that point on, you get a female friend who can be very honest with you, and they're like, hey, Unmatched Warrior, fix your fucking teeth. Brush your teeth. Get rid of those jeans that your mom bought you from Walmart. Stop living in your mom's basement. Time to get rid of those fucking McDonald's Happy Meals out of the back of your car.
Shut up, man. You're not the boss of me.
No, but that's essentially what you have to do. If you do that, I like to use women specifically to help get you access to different things, introduce you to other women, and also to calibrate you. So that's what I would do. I would just treat them the same as everybody else. The third one I got is shout out to 199 from Nick Josie. Shout out to Maryland. We screw and hunt out here.
There you go.
That's funny.
Maryland. Oh, yeah.
Did you have any super chats?
Bravo. No, but I wanted to have a follow-up for Brady. Of the guys that you see, like, say, on the dating apps, like on, let's just say Tinder, what percentage of guys do you think get it? Like, actually, like, they look good. They go, oh, my God, finally, I found a dude who knows how to take a picture. What percentage of guys, of all the ones, do you use it that much?
I've never been on Tinder, but, like, my last 2 guys I've dated, I found on TikTok. And like I said, when I went to their Instagrams, I was kind of like, but on TikTok, they looked good because they don't know how to take good photos of themselves. Like, they're much more attractive in person than they were on their Instagrams. And I think if guys knew how to take better photos and knew better angles and, like I hate to say it like this, like, women take, I guess, better care of themselves. Like, we care more and we try harder.
They're more brand conscious.
Like, if the right guy knew, like, what filler to go get and how to take care of himself and what to do, whatever, he could look 10 times hotter than a woman.
See, that goes back to what I keep saying is, like, dating today has become brand management.
Did you fucking get married?
I was going to say, which one of those guys gave you that rock?
Does he have a brother?
I found him, or he found me on TikTok.
No, I know I met him. It's the same dude, right?
See?
Yeah. You got married?
Engaged.
Okay, I didn't realize. All right, congratulations, Brady. I didn't realize it. Okay, there we go.
And
this is how I
the
found
chat
him.
goes nuts.
That's crazy stuff. The other reason why I wanted to have you on is because you have a functioning marriage in Las Vegas.
I do.
How do you make that work? Do you understand? Do you understand why I'm asking the question? Because there's distractions everywhere.
I do.
How do you make that work?
Well, our first date, it was like pouring down rain. Like, I was like, I don't know. I don't want to go on another date. This might be like a waste of time. I don't know. Shalala. And like, when I sat down, he was like, this was almost 6 years ago. He was like, I'm 31. I have 2 kids. I've been married before. I'm not really looking to play games. He's like, just don't lie and don't cheat on me. I was like, damn, well, I don't even really like know you, but I was like, what a dude. Like, who says that? So ever since then, day one, 0 minutes in, like, always like strong trust and loyalty. And
did you think you were going to marry him after the first date?
after that first kiss, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
First date was pretty interesting.
Kiss? Or
first kiss, yep.
Okay.
Yep, kiss before all that. But no, I had an ex show up to our first date.
An ex show up to your first date?
To the first date. So we were supposed to go to one place, and it was pouring down rain, and in Charleston, when it rains, it literally floods. So I was like, okay, we can't go to this place. We went to this other one. We sit down, and somehow the GM of that restaurant texted the guy who I was kind of talking to, but not really. And then I see my boyfriend stand up and shake someone's hand, and then there's the guy, and he was like, hey, Olivia, remember the time we went on a date and sat right there? I was like, ugh. No, awkward, and he just like watched from the bar the whole time, like just like
what
your future husband watched from the bar.
No, the ex guy.
Oh, the ex watched from the bar.
From the bar.
I know he's sick to his stomach now.
Blew your spot up.
Yeah, he was like, remember the time we sat right there? I was like, listen,
bro.
I'm curious. Are any of you guys on dating apps now? No. You are? You're on a dating app? None of you are? This is another thing that I've noticed is that like a lot of girls that are
Does OnlyFans count?
Just aren't on dating apps.
I know.
A lot of girls aren't on
the
funnel.
I'm on there for women, not men. But
to meet women?
We use our social media as dating apps, honestly.
So you'd say the biggest
Instagram.
dating dating platform is Instagram.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, cool. Brandy, you should sell my fucking program. I need to give you an affiliate link. Because you keep saying exactly what I'm saying. It's like these dudes just need to learn how to take pictures because like the problem is it's scalable. The problem is here's the issue. Even if your social media is like a 7 out of 10 and in person you're a 10 out of 10, on social media, like I get 1.9 million impressions a month. Even if I'm not that good, I'm still not that good to 1.9 million people. And I don't have a big Instagram. For a dude, like it's so scalable versus you going out to the mall and just trying to meet whoever's out there. That's why I think it's just so important for you to have your social media. And by the way, when you meet a guy, what's the first thing you look up?
His Instagram.
There you go.
Even on TikTok, when they were hitting me up on TikTok, I'm like, let me go see what your Instagram looks like.
Do any of you ladies do the same thing? Doma, do you do the same thing? Yeah. Do you do it? Olivia? Yeah.
I did it.
Catherine, you do? Yeah. What do you think of mine?
We have to investigate. On par.
But again, that goes back to you have to know how to market yourself, basically.
Oh,
Lucy,
but
Lucy,
the perfect
do you
segue.
only bat left-handed? Do you only bat left-handed? Or both hands? You're switching.
Both.
You're switching. So you're
She's ambidextrous.
You're Mickey Mantle. Okay, cool. What is that like here in Las Vegas doing that?
Well, I'll be honest, it's really, really new. I just got out of an 8-year relationship.
With a dude?
So, yeah.
Yeah, good for you. There we go. Welcome to the streets, girl.
She's like, buffet.
Welcome.
I'll update you. I'll update you how it's going.
Hey, let me put right streets in the chat if you want to welcome Lucy back to the streets.
But Mike, Feels Before Real says a successful man, let's see if I can deliver this right. A successful man isn't making content for women.
What do you mean?
Oh.
No, meaning like as far as a brand management thing is like if you're doing it to
just-
get laid, there's something wrong with you.
Why are you doing it then?
You're a
A lot of
dancing
men
monkey.
do a lot of
You're a
things
dancing
for
monkey.
women.
I want to make this argument as mathematically as I can.
Dance monkey.
The fact of the matter is, your level, unless you are going to physically buy billboards or win an Academy Award, there is no way for a normal man to get more exposure than social media. That is a mathematical fact. That is not my fucking opinion. And in order for you to have, like, if you have success in that arena, you're going to have more success, period. It's just almost like same thing versus me like teaching one jujitsu class versus me creating a jujitsu class on video and selling it to 50 million people. How am I going to make more money? The scalable product makes more money. Instagram is scalable. You going to the mall is not, period. This is a mathematical argument. This has nothing to do with what looks cool or if this looks weird or feminine or whatever. You have to do this.
Yep, I agree. However, it goes back to what's known as dancing monkey hate, and this is so old that I can go back. I'm trying to go back to a 2009 post. It's in what Royce used to call the unbearable triteness of hating, and it was the hater would say, "Well, you're a dancing monkey. Any guy who does stuff for a woman, he's therefore performing for her, and he's not actually being authentic." And the answer to that is cry harder. If you want to play the game, if you want to in any way be successful with women, you will at some point have to entertain women. In fact, it's a biological fact that you're going to do that. So when you are 8, 9, 10 years old and you're riding wheelies on your bike down the street to get Susie's attention, you didn't learn that from your favorite rapper or from some,
No, that's evolutionary.
So you're doing that because you're showing off, because that's what you're trying. Congratulations. Evolution made you a dancing monkey.
Listen, fellas who are out there, on average, you have 17 times as much testosterone as women. The reason for is because God gave you, or natural selection, Charles Darwin, whoever you choose to attribute this to, gave you a phenotype or a body that was made to compete with other men. In some cases, to do violence to other men, but in other cases, just to compete with them for resources. So that is essentially what's going on. In the case of like an elephant bull seal or a lion, they will physically kill other alpha males in order to have access to the women. In some cases, like a peahen, you'll see the peacock run around and show off his plume. He won't physically kill the other males, but in every case, the males in these two gender species, the males have more testosterone and they will compete for the attention of women. That's just the way. That's not the way I made it. That's not the way fucking Rollo made it. That's not the way Fresh and Fit made it, or Andrew Tate, or anybody like that. That is the way evolution created us. So in some cases, you are going to have to compete. For any guy out there who's like, Michael, I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to make a bunch of money. I don't want to get in the gym. You are perfectly allowed to do that, and I'm never going to hold that against you. The problem is the next guy will.
So let me school you a little bit longer here. The dancing monkey hate, by the way, is number 16 of a very long list. Hater. The men who run game are just doing the bidding of women. Alphas don't entertain women. Now, here's the response. If you want to be successful with women, you are going to have to entertain them one way or another. The same is true for women. Once a woman stops entertaining men with her body, her femininity, and her commitment worthiness by getting fat, old, bitchy, single mommy, or she just stops having success with men right after that. We are all doing the bidding of our biomechanical overlord, and on our knees to his will we surrender, by force or by choice. You fool yourself if you believe you have some plenary indulgence from this stark reality. Or, if you can't beat them, join them.
Okay, and from a scientific study, and I want to get your comment on this.
Cry harder.
Dr. David Buss says human beings are the only species of mammals where women compete in an arena set by men, and men compete in an arena set by women. Does that make sense? Men do things and compete in ways like men do not sit there and do crochet with big muscles. Crochet, let's knit shit together. No, they do ultimate fighting championship, car racing, shooting guns, bodybuilding. They do things that get the attention of women. Now, sometimes they're overly excessive. They'll get tattoos or whatever, or they'll get into fistfights. Sometimes they'll go overly excessive, but that's the reason why men compete on those levels, having a nice car, whatever it is. Women, on the same thing, women will compete in ways that are attractive to men. The arena for women is the arena that women compete on is defined by men, the floor and the ceiling. This is what Dr. David Buss is. Anyway, you guys have any comments on that?
I'm listening.
I'm waiting for you to.
Yeah, I'm waiting for what it is.
No, that's it. That is
okay.
No, that is it. Like the thing is, that's what's so unusual about our species that we do that. For usually on other species, you have one species that does all the picking, and the other species.
Here's better. Maybe this is a better question. What makes a guy a tryhard to you? Like we asked the creepy question last. Like what makes a guy kind of creepy, but what makes a guy like it turns you off as far as like him like trying too hard, or he's
making
clingy, putting it out
like
there?
everyone's a tryhard if you think about it, because everyone's trying to impress someone else. It's just a matter of like if you make it obvious that that's what you're doing. I think that's what makes them a tryhard.
I think comparison. If you compare yourself, or you're trying to seem like that guy too hard, it shows insecurity, which shows me you're faking it, which is trying too hard in my book.
So inauthenticity.
I'll go back to the faking it bit. I think, it's that moment you start losing genuine interest. I don't care how competitive you get, but I want you to be genuinely interested. If you're just doing it just for a facade, you've lost me. But
do you think you can, maybe this is a good question for, do you want to answer that last one? Like what makes a guy a tryhard? Do you think you guys have a good, do you think you have a good sensitivity or a good filter for like creepiness, try hard, clingy guys?
Yes.
Do you think it like so can you like look at a guy like and within the first 5 minutes know if he's like if he's authentic or he's inauthentic?
I feel yes.
Well, yes. It's such like a
how good is your filter
statement though?
Well, you've talked to me specifically about your antenna being misaligned.
Yeah. So
in your case, I think specifically because of your past, you mentioned before on our episode how you mistook one thing for love. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's kind of different, though, I felt like.
Well, that is part of the problem.
I thought we were just talking about
not
like
seeing the red flags.
Yeah, but there are certain red flags that you ignored or you mistook for love. Do you remember? You were talking about that before. I think that sometimes does happen to women. What do you think?
I mean, it's a little difficult because sometimes guys can be really good liars. I've been surprised. I've been totally like, sometimes my radar's up, but I've been, as I get older, I know how to like cut the shit out right away.
But you were asking if we knew like right off the bat if a guy was like creepy or try hard or whatever, not like mentally ill.
So the thing is, all of it is
it's harder.
All of it is incongruent or disingenuous. So try hard is one way of being disingenuous.
But there's levels to it.
Correct.
Like there's a guy who's obviously creepy, and there's a guy who seems normal and has like issues that you don't see right away.
Yeah, the opposite. That's what it's going to get to next. There's a flip to that.
There's the excessively creepy guy, right? Who like he keeps staring at you and he follows you home and all this kind of stuff. And then there's the guy who's overly asshole-ish because he's putting on a facade. Because here's the reason why, but in case you ladies didn't know, is when I'm growing up and I'm in my 20s or whatever, I kept losing out to dudes who were assholes. But they weren't assholes. They just had boundaries that I didn't have. But from my standpoint, all the girls were telling me is these guys were assholes. And when I met them, they looked like cocky assholes. So I was like, well, then I need to be an asshole and to get girls. And there's an entire community of pickup artists who believe this kind of concept, and it's not real life. The reality is you need to set boundaries. When you set boundaries to a woman who's really into you, she calls you an asshole. But it's not that you're an asshole. It's just the first person to ever tell you no. That's the reason that happens. And then women find that attractive. Some women, in some cases, find that attractive. But that's essentially what happens. But people mistake that and they think, oh, man, this person's a butthole. This person is being mean to me. No, they're not being mean to you. They're just setting a boundary. Yeah,
I was going to say I've been doing this for 20 years. Good God. In the early days, people would always say, Rollo, don't teach those guys that. You'll turn them into assholes. You'll turn them into jerks, right? That was a very popular concept, I think probably back in the early 2000s, maybe up to like past 2012 or something, is that the red pill community or guys who are in like sort of seduction community or trying to sort of learn social skills so they can interact with women so they can actually get a first date in the first place. The concern, of course, is the binary concern, the extreme concern, is that you're turning these guys into assholes. You're turning them into jerks. But really, nowadays, I don't hear that quite so much. Back then, it was like, well, most of the guys were like kind of nice guy, 80%ers. They're kind of nice. They're trying to go along to get along all the time. And then to give them a little bit of, a kick in the ass, it's like, I'm not saying be an asshole, but like harness the asshole's energy so that you have at least some sort of independence and you seem like you're not like an appeaser all the time and you're not like trying to be a people pleaser kind of person.
That sounds like you're confusing with like being an asshole to being more competent. Though there's like a fine line.
I think more congruent.
Congruent would be
I know a lot of guys who are very good with women are not very confident.
Today I would say, so that was then, this is now. Now today, guys just simply lack basic like social skills because they've been acculturated and socialized behind a screen.
They're just weird as shit.
So that's why. So their socialization skills. When guys online learn socialization skills, they're right here in the chat right now learning socialization skills by going, I would never fuck a girl like that. She's got big tits and boofoo lips.
Who's kind of like shy and timid though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, Brandy, you're correct, but unless the fucking stars align, you will never meet them. You said you met your ex on TikTok, which means is that shy and awkwardness? No, he had to go and put himself out there on TikTok.
He's not shy, but like.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying is,
there are guys out there that
if you ever watch Big Bang Theory, it's like this physicist bumps into the woman of his dreams, but she happens to be living next door in the same apartment. Good luck with that. Tell me how that fucking works out for you if you want to do that for the rest of your life.
What a miracle! People aren't falling in love with coffee shops anymore. It's just not happening.
Thank you. The reality of the situation is you have to again when
it's not an episode of Friends.
When an attorney wants to market his services, he buys a bunch of billboards and he pays for a bunch of ads. I don't understand why it makes sense in that instance, but it doesn't make sense as far as dating. You literally have to put yourself out there. You could actually be a really shitty human being and have really good social media, and women will go out with you. That's the part that makes it just so fucking crazy.
Well, you have to think like in a matter of like numbers. Like there's 8 billion people in the world. That's that like I don't think people can even like fathom how much that really is. So you're telling me out of 8 billion people, I can pick anyone, short, tall, fat, skinny, whatever ethnicity, and out of those 8 billion people, there are going to be at least 100,000 people who find that person attractive. You just have to put yourself in front of the right audience.
For sure.
So it's all marketing.
You want to do
brand management?
I got more super chats.
I got some too. But you go. You
let's
first.
do these real quick. Fonzie C, you guys answer the question here. Should prostitution be legal? Is marriage a form of prostitution?
Ooh, what?
I have big thoughts
Being
on
a
this
sugar
one.
baby is a form of prostitution.
You think so?
It's so public and just like out there that it is.
Is OnlyFans a form of prostitution?
I actually got into it with Mickey about this because he was like, you're technically a prostitute. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then we looked up the definition and it is.
You think OnlyFans is a form of prostitution?
Busted.
The definition was committing sexual acts.
It's quid pro quo, sex for acts, yeah.
It was committing sexual acts in exchange for money. And we are committing sexual acts on there in exchange for money. So I lost that battle, but I tried to fight it.
What do you think? Should prostitution be legal? Is marriage a form of prostitution?
I don't think marriage is a form of prostitution. I think prostitution should be legal. I think the government can find ways to, if it's bringing safety to these girls because there's two ways, there's the pimps. I don't like that where they're exploiting women who don't want to be in prostitution. But then there is a lot of women who genuinely want to put themselves out there who are walking the casinos.
Do you guys, when we made, this is a great example, when we made marijuana legal, more people didn't start smoking marijuana, and there was less violence at the border. It worked. And the same number of people smoke marijuana.
The Bunny Ranch, technically?
It is. So it's an escrow, but it's outside of Clark County.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's legal in some places.
Yes, no, it's legal. It's legal in Mount House, Nevada. Come on down.
Yeah.
Come on up to Reno, Nevada. I'll take you out there.
Olivia Bertani, what do you think?
I think people should just do what they want.
Yeah.
You shouldn't go to jail for that. So it's going to happen regardless. So
agreed.
It shouldn't be illegal.
I think a big question that goes unanswered is why do people believe it shouldn't be legal?
It would be puritanical beliefs from a Judeo-Christian country that we live in.
Precisely. So shouldn't we separate that and let people be people? Like, I don't really understand that.
We do in some cases, but we don't in others. I think what happens is there are other things that come with it. Like, for instance, if I build a casino next to a school, is it illegal to have a casino? Yes. But there's an element that comes with the casino that I don't want next to a school. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Right. So that's what happens. So when you make prostitution legal, one of the things that happens is you're inviting a certain element. But my argument is then let's control that element and put it in certain places.
What do you
don't think they
consider,
think they
what do you
can.
consider to be prostitution then, though? Like,
So for me, I don't think being a sugar baby is a prostitute because it's not illegal.
Yeah.
Like quid pro quo.
because it's not illegal, but does a prostitute, like Pretty Woman, does a prostitute not sleep with a man in exchange for gifts and money? And is a sugar baby not only with her sugar daddy in exchange for gifts and money?
The reason why Mickey is not technically correct is because it's not one for one. So quid pro quo defines prostitution as an illegal act. So what you're not doing is quid pro quo. Does that make sense? You're having consensual sex with somebody that you chose, and the money comes in whenever the fuck it comes in, and he wasn't the one who paid you.
You don't know what their deals are. Like, you don't know what their arrangements are, though. It's
I'm
not illegal because they're not putting
talking
it out
about
there.
your arrangement. Your arrangement would not be under that title of prostitution.
Oh, of OnlyFans.
Correct.
Right, but
Yeah.
I'm saying the sugar baby thing.
So the sugar baby thing, because I know some sugar babies, so do you. It generally is he buys her stuff, and the stuff is basically exchange for the dating. You know what I'm saying? Escorting is actually not illegal. People confuse escorting for prostitution. Escorting is just a guy going to dinner with a girl.
When these guys are buying her these things,
buying her
he's
things,
expecting
and
sex.
oh, by the way, we're fucking. And if we're not fucking, then, oh, by the way, I'm not buying you these things anymore. They're trying to make the two things separate. And because it's not a one-for-one, technically it's not illegal. I wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't recommend
I think it is a
guys.
one-for-one with them. They just don't tell people that.
Could be. It could be. But I don't think that's a sugar baby then. I think that's actually, because I know some sugar babies who are like literally getting wedding rings. So I don't think, most of them that I talk to.
They're securing their client.
Correct. But if once we get a wedding ring, now is this prostitution?
Depends on
that goes into his marriage
why you're getting married.
Okay,
though.
there we
You're
go.
not getting
Does that
married
go?
for
What do
love.
you think? What do you think, Professor?
Is marriage prostitution? I would say no, but I was also raised to believe marriage is a business deal.
Marriage. So
women marry a lifestyle; they don't marry a dude.
So the advent of marriage, we'll say back during the Sumerians or the agricultural revolution, somewhere between 12, 11, 10,000 years ago, it was. So you understand, most people didn't have last names, right? You were Jack Builder, Jim the Carpenter. That was the name. That was the name of people. Yeah, Taylor, exactly, Catherine Taylor. So you had your last name. Only the nobility had last names. Marriage was a way for nobility to marry nobility and to share wealth after the older generation died off. They knew that the wealth would stay together. In the Catholic Church, bishops cannot marry, specifically for the fact they do not want bishops to inherit land and wealth. They want to maintain wealth in this upper class. Marriage was only an arrangement of convenience for economic purposes. It wasn't until maybe the 15th century or the 16th century that we started to consider marriage as far as like true love. That's what Romeo and Juliet is.
It's when you had courtly love and you had the romantic
Correct.
ideal came into place.
Correct.
I was going to say the other thing is when it comes to like legalizing prostitution. I mean, essentially we've done that already. We've done everything but that right now.
Wait, so when they
found a way
legalize it,
to-
it will no longer be prostitution?
Well,
then, because it won't be an illegal act.
No, it'll still be prostitution.
Well,
it just won't be a legal act.
That's why we call it
smoking marijuana. Still called smoking marijuana.
Well, that's why
even
we
though it's
call
illegal.
that's why we call them sex workers and not prostitutes, not whores, not 304s, whatever. It's like we're trying to find cutesy ways to sort of blunt the hit of prostitution.
Like
no. Let's nerf that a little
loopholes.
bit. Well, no, it's a changing of the language so you can normalize certain things. But the
You
thing is
understand pornography's a loophole.
but it's stupid. I mean, call yourself whatever the hell you want to call yourself because by order of degree, we're already there by some effect. There's guys in the chat who are like sort of I'll never get married, blah, because they believe that marriage is at least some kind of prostitution, and you can go and logically and say, well, it's an exchange of resources for sexual access.
I think it's the opposite, right? So let's get into that real quick.
No, but I mean, it's still an exchange.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So here's why I would disagree with legalizing prostitution, or why I think that people have a problem with it, is because if you got a guy who is married and he's seeing whores on the side, how does that affect that particular family? So there's a lot of social structures that are actually that are compromised by that. Yeah, he is.
Put it in your marriage.
But
your,
prenup. So that's
Put it in
that,
there.
and that's why you get
That's how
into
you
things
go.
like.
There's people who are married strictly because they love each other.
Or they, yes, or else.
Why is there always
Wow, I think it's going to make a comeback one of these days.
Brandy, tell us more about this. That's insanity.
Well, that's
married because they love each other.
That's a good observation, because like then you get into like polyamory right now and thruples and God knows what polycules and all.
If you guys would consider having a threesome with your man, put your hand in the air.
I've done it. I mean,
oh come on! I know I was gonna.
I know. I'm like,
Michael wants
Jesus.
to-
what if you've already done it?
That all depends on what the
You've never done it?
contract is.
Oh, I never have done it, or I would not.
Have you ever done it?
I have before, but I thought you were asking if I would now.
You would now? Not now?
Absolutely not.
Why not? Oh,
she
this is
engaged.
very interesting.
I've never spoken about this either. I don't know why, if it's just like a weird switch in my brain, but like
When you didn't care about the guy, you were cool with the threesome, and now that you're engaged, you don't want to have one.
every single time I had a threesome with the guy, I never touched him again after that. I lost all physical attraction, all sexual attraction, all any type of attraction I had to him. It was just gone. Like poof. Like literally the next day I woke up and was like, I don't want to fuck with you anymore. I don't know why. So then I thought it was the guy. So I did it with like a couple other guys just to see it. The same thing happened every time. Never fucked him again after
do you know
that.
what it is? You
Was
don't know
it
what
the
is?
I don't
issue
know.
with the girl?
Well, at least you
Or
use the scientific
no?
method.
Because I made sure to try guys that were
Trying to
just like
disprove
fuck
our own
buddies, and I
hypothesis.
didn't
Yeah.
really care. I did one with a boyfriend to see if it would be a different experience. I tried it with multiple guys, and I had the same reaction every
So
time.
you broke
Like,
up with a boyfriend. You had a threesome with a boyfriend and then broke up with him because of it.
Yeah, I was just like,
Do you remember the moment that it clicked in your head? You're like, nope, not for me anymore.
It was
I'm done. Like
after
in the,
the
moment you
third
got turned
time, I
off.
was like, this. I got to a point where I was dating a guy, and I was like, I'm scared to have a threesome because what if I don't want to be with him after that? Because it happened to me every other time. So when I got with a guy I really cared about, I was like, fuck, I don't want to like lose feelings for him and break up with him, so I wouldn't have a threesome with him. Because it
That's
happened
interesting.
three times in a like not in a row, but like with three guys.
Would you have married that guy if you hadn't had that threesome? Would you have been like more? Would you have been like if you?
No, but I wasn't.
Is he
gonna
in the
marry him.
running like
'Cause no,
anyways?
No. But like I said, one of the guys, it was just like a casual like hookup. I was single, whatever. He was like a fuck buddy, if you want to call it that. And we were casually hooking up. And after that, I had no desire to hook up with him again. And then I was like, maybe it was like timing or whatever. So I tried it with another guy. Same thing. Just the next day, I was just like, oh, like I don't like I was repulsed by like I just
Okay,
I had
Are you a
nothing.
possessive person?
Is it the quality of the guy that put the ring on your finger? Is it him
You mentioned-
that prevents you from doing that, or is it the experiences you had in the
Brandon,
past?
It's the
that says-
experiences
Brandon,
that I had in the
you,
past.
You
that, like,
mentioned to
I'm-
me that you would like guys to be obsessed over you. Is that what you're talking about here?
No, because some of the time it was my idea.
Okay.
And I got to choose the girl. And
Whoa,
everything,
so it was your
like-
idea. You got to choose the girl. You had a threesome with the dude and then lost attraction for him after you had the
Like
threesome with the girl that you
One of the
picked.
times, it was like this guy I was like talking to. Like we were
Okay.
about to start dating. We were talking. And I was bartending with this other girl. He had a crush on her, and I knew he did. And she was a really, really good friend of mine. It was Valentine's Day, and I was like, oh, we should bring her home with us. Like, whatever. And like, we all went back, whatever. And I just like, the next day, I was like, and it wasn't like a harsh feeling or anything. It was just like, oh my God, like, I cannot bring myself to like hook up with him anymore. Like, I'm not like, I don't even want to keep
That's
talking
incredible.
to him.
He was tainted.
Lucy, have you ever
It
had this
wasn't
problem?
that he was tainted. It was just,
Okay, no. So I was in a very, an 8-year relationship, and we did participate in the activities. So, but
Who
there
chose?
was,
You or her? Or you or him?
It was always the other girl who started it, who popped it off every
Okay.
time. We never like planned. It was always spontaneous. It was never planned. It was never like we choose her. That actually never worked out.
Yeah.
Like anytime we chose someone, but I did notice that if she wasn't doing everything she was doing for me, if it wasn't about me, that's when I realized like, oh, I'm kind of gay, like, you know. And if it wasn't about me and both of them catering to me, it was like, no, like if I'm gonna let you fuck him, like you have to be doing it because I want you to. Like, don't, if it becomes about him at any point. That's why I was asking if you knew at any point when it clicked in your head, like, was it?
Were you super into her?
yeah, I was more involved we were more involved than he was.
Yeah,
Like it was like
that's always-
everything
yeah.
was like flowing really well. Like it wasn't the
Just afterwards
experience
you were
that
done.
was bad. It wasn't the girl. It was one of my best friends. Like we were still really good friends after that, like and everything. But it was just kind of like I don't know why I was put off by him after that. And it wasn't like I said. It was like everything. Like I didn't even want to hang out with him and go get lunch or anything. I just wanted nothing to do with him after that. I was just like ew.
Catherine
And I
Taylor?
don't know why.
What do you want to know?
Have you ever had that?
Come on, spill it.
No, I haven't been with a man and a woman consecutively. It's always been separate. That being said, I am insanely attracted to women. I enjoy the thought of seeing my man with another woman. So that entire idea is very attractive, which is why I raised my hand.
Yeah.
I would absolutely.
But you've never done it?
No.
Okay. Have anybody here done double threesome? No?
A
Okay,
what?
cool.
What's double threesome?
Two dudes. Two dudes and one guy. Oh, you've done a double threesome?
I haven't
All right,
thought about that.
If the contract is right.
Hold on. Would you do that with your dude?
No,
A double threesome?
no.
It'd have to be strange
Okay,
for me.
now, Olivia Bertani, I have a feeling that you feel the opposite way that she feels about your dude with another girl. Is that why you wouldn't do that?
We both discussed like we not really interested in that.
What if he was interested?
He's definitely not.
Okay.
I'm definitely not. We've had many offers, money offers, women offering, men offering, old men with money offering. So all the varieties of everything. And we're
You're
like,
a hot commodity, ma'am.
I
love it.
You guys are really in love.
Lucy was just going to get you some chicken nuggets. That was it.
That's all I have for you, babe.
And some tequila maybe, and then just see how that worked out.
7-Eleven still open.
you know, drama college in New York was a different thing with women, but it's like, it's not my flavor anymore. It is men.
Damn it.
Oh, so in drama college, you were attracted to women?
Well, you had no other option because every dude was gay. So
Okay.
I thought I was going to New York City to meet like a Zac Efron type singing and dancing, and I'm like, well, none of these guys
You're
are
meeting
women.
Justin.
So it's all pragmatism.
Oh, wow.
These guys are gay.
Just
Okay.
a bunch of guys in leotards. I'm like, well, damn.
Dumbo.
Yes.
This is not even fair.
I know. Well, so the thing is that before I joined the industry, I did have a boyfriend who I was with for 7 years, and we got into girls. The thing that actually turned me off, I didn't like his type of girls.
Okay. That's valid.
I learned that I had a type, and actually before that, I was very like obsessed with him. And then after we did a few of the threesomes, I started to see like the pattern of girls. Like he really liked plain Janes. Nothing against his type of women, but they weren't like.
That's so interesting.
style.
That's so interesting because I know
Attainables.
some girls who do this on a regular, and the girl has to be less pretty, so the plain Jane thing would work.
Yeah.
Right?
Really?
Oh my God, I'm
Yes,
so opposite.
I've did. So you want them to be as hot as
I
possible.
want them to be a hotter version of me.
Hot as fuck, right?
All the
Like
girls I
I.
picked were like
Yeah.
really pretty girls.
Yeah, like I want them to be
Yeah,
so hot.
I've experienced both. Like because where a girl is like, if she's too hot, I'm
Attractive
not,
dude?
Huh? No.
I think that's like an insecurity thing. Like, what if she shows out and she looks better than me? Fuck.
For
Like,
sure. Yeah, I've
But-
definitely,
Like,
I've
I
definitely seen
want
that.
her
But they were
Please.
fun in ways that was before I was a dominant, and I can control them a little bit, like, so I liked that. But when I did a polyamory relationship, that actually was a little too much for me.
I don't think this is a pretty controversial statement. I don't think polyamory works for men.
I don't think it
I
works
think
for any
polygyny.
of
works
them.
in
Not
general.
long term anyway.
I think polygyny works for men and women. I think polyamory only works for women.
Yeah,
think-
it's the living together.
That's too
a little
much.
much.
Hey, let me get to.
Super chat.
Finish that. Okay,
No,
I got a dozen super chats
Do
here
'em.
to jump on. Toph, actually, I'm finally coming back to Toph because he
By the
actually.
way, if somebody
asked me this
says
question
something
on
rude
my
about
show.
you guys, you say something rude right back to these
Yeah, you can-
motherfuckers. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
They're not ready.
All
I'll pull the
bets
jokey
are off
jokes out
today, man. Let me
anywhere.
tell you, and you know why. Anyways, Toph says this question for you, Rollo. I super chatted a few weeks ago asking about which side of hypergamy pre-selection fell under, and you responded with the beta buck side. Could you please elaborate on that? Which side? Which of the three P's? But what he's referring to is the sort of long-term security side of women's mating strategy. Okay, so there's the alpha fucks, beta bucks. Okay, so it's the short-term sexual arousal. Boy, he's hot, and I was drunk, he was cute, and one thing led to another. And then there's the, he's boyfriend material, he's husband material, he's father material. That's the beta buck side, which is provisioning, parental investment, and protection. Those are the three P's right there. So that's what I
You think
was
that's
talking
beta
about.
side? Protection is on
No,
the beta
well,
side?
okay, so like, you got to remember that alpha and beta, when I talk about it, and really in the red pill, don't conflate it with like, oh, it's bad, it's good. What? No, alpha and beta are abstract terms. They're placeholder terms for characteristics for lack of a better term, until something better comes along. That's what we've been using for a long time. I have to redefine alpha constantly because people keep saying that's not what you think it is. I'm like, no, dude, that's how we use it. So as far as those qualities, long-term security, like for families, for parental investment, there's the cads versus dads. There's the guys you want to fuck in the club, and there's this guy you want to take home to your family.
You believe it's
and you wanna have a-
contextual, right? If you took a guy who's like not that alpha and put him around a bunch of like super beta people, he would be the
Women
alpha.
know in a minute what
But
side
it's
they're-
what I mean.
predominant. Okay, so predominant personality traits. So if
Okay.
you've got a guy who's just a fuck boy, okay, that's alpha fucks. You're not like, oh, maybe I can tame him, maybe I can change him, maybe I can save him. That is an archetype and a stereotype. It's Beauty and the Beast, right? It's I can save him. I can just turn the beast into a prince. And I'll be able to do that. I swear to God. And those are the guys that when a woman gets to like 29, 30, 31 years old, they're like, oh, okay, I'm done with those jerks. Now I'm going to get right with God and I'm going to find a guy, and you better do what you're told, mister, because I'm not getting any younger and my mom needs grandkids, right? So that's the beta buck side, which is really provision. It's long-term security attributes, which is parental investment, protection, and provisioning, and that's what you're talking about. And that's why I asked you that question about the guy. Like when you're having threesomes here, like correct me if I'm wrong, but you weren't falling in love with any of these people going, man, I can't wait to bring my throuple home to mom and dad.
No, I thought it would just be like
now you're in a good
experience.
relationship with a guy who put a ring on it and has at least broadcast or telegraphed some impression to you that like maybe he's in this for the long haul, protection, provisioning, and parental investment. So perhaps you get married, perhaps you make something long term, perhaps something that's more monogamous. You don't even want to do a threesome with this guy because is it because he's that high quality enough a guy, or is it because like you're just at a point where you're like, okay, my ship's come in?
Oh God. So again, most of the ones I had in the past were like, I was just trying to have fun, but I didn't find any fun in it. And when I saw my reaction towards those guys, it scared me away from even attempting it with someone I really cared about. Because I was like, man, what if I've built this great relationship, everything's good, and then I have this threesome with him, and then I wake up tomorrow and I'm like, fuck, I just ruined it. You know what I mean? Like
another example would be a woman who had a threesome with someone and the dude left
opportunity
her
cost.
for the other girl. That would make her not ever want to have a threesome again. I could see that as well. So something that happened in your past. I have one from Smoking Patriot. I've known several guys that have quit dating due to the minefield of potential false accusations. I don't want to risk it all to approach a woman. So this guy's got to the point where he doesn't even want to go approach women because he's afraid of like false accusations. And I will tell you this, from the guys that I know here in Las Vegas, myself, Bilzerian, a bunch of other dudes like this who don't get a bunch of accusations against us, the reason why you're worried about getting those accusations, I promise you they don't happen if you have a bunch of females with you and you are you become calibrated to those females. You're not going to get any weird accusations. So I don't think that's something to worry about.
Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Do you understand, Brady? Does that not make sense? A dude is like, the guys who are getting these accusations, a lot of them are weird. They're just fucking weird dudes. Like women are not just going out there.
I've seen a dude surrounded by women and he's weird as fuck.
Right, but is he getting rape accusations?
Actually, those
that
years later, I swear to God, those are the ones that do that. All the girls that were hanging out with him and don't hang out with him anymore because they've all feuded with him, and now they have this big falling out, and those girls aren't friends with him anymore.
Feuded with him.
Was he paying them to be around him though? Is he a guy with money and status? Like, because that's different.
You know who it is. But
yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah, that is not what I know who you're talking about. That is not what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm talking about a dude. I'm talking about a dude who can just be friends with a lot of girls.
Like, because he has a lot of girls around all the time. He's friends with all of them, and then they get in like an argument, and then there's accusations after the fact.
Yeah, so that's what this guy's talking about. It's a situation where a woman does not like the situation with the man, so she retcons and starts making up.
It's a good word.
Starts making up things that happen. I've seen this happen before, where a girl gets drunk and sleeps with somebody, cheats on her boyfriend, and then she doesn't. She's not trying to go to the police with the accusation, but she's telling her friends, "Oh yeah, I didn't mean to do that. He forced me," so that she doesn't look like a slut. Yeah. And that ends up, while it doesn't seem like a big deal to her, that ends up him in jail. That he ends up losing his job because of that, and so that ends
like
up being
every guy's biggest fear.
Travis, can you grab the? I think I missed a couple of those.
Here we go.
Super
Dirty Mike, $5. Stole my mom's credit card. Thought I'd send some support your way before mom finds out. Wish me luck. Dirty Mike,
got
good
my
luck,
back.
bro.
Yeah.
Good luck, Mike, bro.
I got you, fam.
Digging in the purse. Did you do good, Mike?
Okay. Hey, Nick Josie, $4.99. The Murderer Next Door and Why Women Have Sex. Explain it all. Fantastic read. Shout out to Michael for putting me on it. Been here since podcast number 1. Thank you, Mr. Nick Josie. And I believe I'll have two more. Hold on a second. Fahim Jackson. Prostitution is the only problem in third world countries where women have no other choice. Now it's manipulated by outsiders who take advantage of the lack of opportunity. And then Fonzie C. True or false? Shower sex is overrated. No, shower sex is good.
What?
Wrong.
It's not overrated. It's problematic.
I actually hated it until recently.
When she's a foot shorter than you, it's a little difficult, but it's not overrated.
It's the water. It creates like a weird friction.
Yeah, so you just put the water over somewhere else. Like, it doesn't have to be completely.
I would renovate a fucking bathroom.
By the way, let me explain to you guys. There's these the shower heads that have the second shower head that you can pull off the top. Great for threesomes. So you have the main shower head goes on you two, and then the girl who's cold.
You're a planner.
She's shivering off in the corner of the shower. She gets the other.
Now you know why guys watch YouTube videos for like home improvement. I got an idea.
Get the two-head shower head. That's my tip
More
for you guys.
threesomes will come right after.
That's my tip.
Honey, hear me out.
You're going somewhere else with that shower head.
Travis, do you got those other two?
I did too.
Yeah, I was like,
I missed a couple of oranges back there. They got past me.
Did you do the one by Nico Blinks where social media is?
No, read that one. Yeah.
Okay. So from Nico Blinks, we have him saying, social media is interesting because I got the most engagement from women when I was having the most fun. But when I was having fun, I wasn't doing much with my life. I didn't care for IG when I was working 14 hours a day, LOL.
Thank you for your comment. Is there anything else? Was there another orange after that?
Tomo J, the U.S. has 1.64 births per women and 0.84 in Korea. Given with this information, if a woman only has sons, what would be your chances to be a grandmother? And how many of you hope you will be able to...
Yes, dude, we know it's below replacement level. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll make that connection for you. Move along.
This is the best one, dude. I got to read yours. Adventure Sombrado, this is to you. He goes, how do you recover lost super chats?
Oh, you mean from Adam Sosnick's show?
Natalia
when they don't...
Yes. Saucecast.
Yeah, they made off with, what, $1,500 worth of super chats because they didn't want to read the nasty ones to the idiot that they brought on that show?
We'll just bring this up.
We're going to bring it.
And we're not going to say his name because I'm not getting...
The fat kid in Brazil. How's that?
We're not getting sued. All right, so here's the thing. A good friend of ours, Adam Sosnick, made a... I don't know if it's an error in judgment or whatever. There's no way he knew what he was getting into. He had, just imagine, like the...
That's more scary than actually, like, it's either stupidity or malice. I don't think it's malice, and stupidity is actually the worst choice.
He has everyone on, like, he's had other people on that.
Yes, but he's presenting himself as like some sort of authority on the manosphere and has no idea who he's bringing on there.
A guy named Adam Sosnick, he's one of the hosts for Valuetainment over in Fort Lauderdale. He's had both of us on together before. He had a person on who is a unpopular individual, like voted most unpopular in high school, that kind of guy. And so he had him on, and then so the super chats come on, and it's nothing but $1,500 worth of super chats telling the guest to go jump in.
No, they were ratting him out because he has a history of let's just say forced sexual copulation. I'll say it the nice way.
Not voluntary sex. Accused allegedly.
And according to his statistics, he has had a 1,500 is it 60 now? I don't know what the count is. All of a sudden,
he says he's been with 1,500 women.
Yeah, at least 1,500. Yes, and so I mean, mathematically speaking, unless you're having orgies every weekend, you're not doing that.
At least 8 of them voluntarily too. Yes.
Sterling Cooper is in the business, and he hasn't had 1,500.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, and I'll tell you this: it's very disappointing to see Adam Sosnick, who I actually think has, in the past anyways, has had some quality stuff. But I'll tell you right now, I just can't co-brand with these guys anymore, Valuetainment, because it's a huge grift at this point. And when you go and by the way, I'm just going to give you a lesson in podcasting here, just for 1 second. If you're going to bill yourself as the pushback to let's say woke culture or cancel culture
or traditional media,
if you're going to present yourself as, well, you know, we want to give this guy his voice, and we got to give him a platform because everybody gets to talk, it's a marketplace of ideas, great, then don't rip off your super chat people when they tell you that this guy's full of shit, because what you're doing is you're censoring them and you're canceling their super chats and you're making off with the fucking money. So don't do that anymore, and shame on you for fucking even bothering with it in the first place. So that's all I'm going to say right now.
Anyway, our buddy had a podcast. The guy who came on was so unpopular that all they did was pay for super chats, trashing this guy, and they read none of them.
Yeah. Right in the middle.
So
dead in the middle.
Guys are paying hundreds of dollars to like get their word out, and they don't even read.
Did they not know what they were getting into with
this
person?
There is no possible way they would have had him on if they knew what they were getting into.
No.
If he had called either one of us, we would have just given him the fucking laundry list.
Yeah. By the way, that's what killed. There used to be a great podcast. It was called "You Are Here" with Sydney Watson and Elijah Schaefer. And you know who came on that podcast that they had no idea who he was? Jack fucking Murphy. Dead show. Where is it now? Nowhere.
Yeah.
So watch who you have on your show. Really, you let rats into your house, don't be surprised when they shit all over the living room.
By the way, one other thing, I am fully open to having a debate with a certain individual from Brazil. But the only rule is you got to be in the same room with me, buddy. That's the only way I'm going to do that interview. But you are more than welcome. Bro, I will pay your flight out here if you want. But I'm also going to let the authorities know that you're coming as well.
We got to do that. We got to have him there. We got to have Alex. We got to have Destiny and who else? Ruslan, and who else? We'll all get them around the table and we'll just go, okay, man, put a knife in the middle of the table.
I don't think Destiny and Ruslan are big enough to hold me back. All right, so anyway, sorry about that. I know you guys are lost.
Sorry.
We'll send you the video so you guys can watch it for yourself. Yeah.
Clip here. I got some more here.
Actually, just look up Michael Sartain exposed. Have some fun. Everybody out there, look up Michael Sartain. The video's so funny, I want everyone to watch it.
Paul, I see you there. The wolf study is nonsense. Thank you. And he was referring to the alpha male thing. Y'all's thoughts on the other archetypes, sigma, alpha, like sociosexual hierarchies? We haven't ever talked about that, have we?
What do you mean?
Alpha, beta, delta.
So this is, we're going to get even more.
We're going to have to get in there.
So check this out. Do you guys understand what the red pill is? What we're talking about when we say red pill? Anybody have a clue? Domo, you probably have some clue.
Domo does.
So
she reads me.
You've heard of red pill?
I don't know.
Okay, so the concept is this, right? You guys remember the movie The Matrix, right? And Morpheus goes up to Neo. He goes, you can take the blue pill, go back to your life, blah, blah, blah. You can take the red pill and see how far the rabbit hole goes. The concept of the red pill, the concept of the blue pill is what network television told you in after-school specials, what your church and your mom told you about be nice to girls, and they're going to be fairy princesses, and then as long as you go to church every day, women will be with you, and they'll never cheat on you, and save up a bunch of money and get a job and a master's degree, and then work for 60 years, and then you'll retire and you'll be happy. The red pill is inflation is taking away all your money. Women, when you're nice to them, will fucking cheat on you. Women will fuck Brock the bartender while talking about how much they love Alex the accountant. Like, the reality of the situation is there is a mate switching strategy for women and for men, but for that matter, and that's the reality. The red pill is based on evolutionary psychology. The blue pill is based on this fucking myth that we've been sold by Hallmark. Does that make sense? Consumerism, for lack of a better term. You are not a man unless you step up and get married and have kids as soon as possible. Single men in their 40s are fucking weirdos. This is what the blue pill tries to teach. And then there's the red pill. There's another thing called the black pill. The black pill is the concept that only men who have looks, money, and status get laid.
It's nihilism.
Yeah, nihilism. If you're not good looking, have money or status, you should just give up. The men who give up are called incels, involuntarily celibate men, and another term for them is called MGTOW, men going their own way. Meaning,
you're gonna get all kinds of shit for conflating those two.
So MGTOW is the concept. If we all take our penis out of the sexual marketplace, then women will get it. They'll come to their senses, and of course, this is utter nonsense because 99% of men are simps, and therefore this doesn't work.
Go read a play called Lysistrata and see how well that works.
So that's it. And then there's other ones, the alpha, beta, sigma. What are the other ones?
That's sociosexual hierarchies. I think we should probably save that for a dedicated show.
Okay, we'll do that.
I got one more here. Nathan says this. I've heard of a meta-menstrual cycle, alpha seed summer, breakup and party at the beach, and the beta need winter. Settle down. Okay, so nest, right? I've noticed this too. What do y'all think? I think we should probably save that for a topic for another show, but it's duly noted. And I think, it's not Adam Sosnick. It's his assistant who reads the super chats. It's no big deal. No, Black Sigma. It is Adam Sosnick, and it is Valuetainment because they are the ones that are providing a platform for this idiot. There you go. All right.
Beautiful.
I'm out. I'm out.
The MGTOW guys are coming after me now. You're correct.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, you're right. I conflated MGTOW and Incels. I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't. I really don't care. If you guys want to come on, but trust me, message me. I'd love to have one of you guys on the podcast.
Let me see if I can shed a little light on that. When you talk about MGTOW, it's men going their own way. So if you are in the sexual marketplace and you become sort of red pill aware, you're aware of sex, you can watch this show and be a little bit more educated about intersexual dynamics, whether it's you as a guy or women as women, whatever. Once you get to that point, you become a little bit better educated and you become aware, you cannot help but go your own way. You go, okay, what can I do with this information? Am I going to still believe what I used to, or am I going to move on? So that can be as extreme as saying, fuck it, I'm going to go live in a cabin in the woods somewhere and I never want to see a woman again in my life. That's the more extreme black pill doomer side of the spectrum. Then there's the guys who are like, you know what? It is what it is. If they come around, they do. If they don't, I'm not going to make women the measure of my worth. Great. That's fucking awesome. That might even show some confidence as a result of that. So if you are red pill aware, if you are aware of anything that we've been talking about on this conversation up to this point, you cannot help but go your own way in some way, shape, or form. So I think it's kind of a moot point at this point. I don't even know why we're even calling it MGTOW anymore.
Yes, absolutely.
There you go. Sorry. My bad.
Awesome.
These guys need this, man. You guys need to hear this shit, because if you don't hear, you're not getting it from anybody else. Trust me, you're not getting it from you're not getting it from Adam Sosnick, you're not getting it from Hammerhand or any of these other schmucks, Undead Chronic. You're not getting it from them right now. You're getting it right here. We will answer questions. That's the great part. That's the beauty of this show. All right, next.
Beautiful. So a couple of things that happened. Tom Brady's 15th retirement. Did you guys see this?
I just watched it.
How long is this going to last?
You've been playing Madden too much.
He looks so heartbroken.
He gets a new card. When you retire, you get a new card in Madden. So here's the thing. At the end, did you guys hear what he said? He starts crying and he goes, "And I wouldn't regret any of the things that I did." And then he starts posting pictures of people that he played football with, and there are 2 pictures of him and with his wife.
Oh.
And I thought it was really interesting because some people were considering, does he try to go back with Giselle? What do you guys think about this whole situation? We're a 45-year-old man. By the way, he is 61 days older than me. So I know what it feels like to get out of bed at 45 years old, and it hurts. And I'm trying to think what it must be like for him to sit there and play football till he's 45 years old. He wants to do it. He gets out of bed every day. He goes and plays football. His wife didn't want him to do it. His wife wanted him to retire, even though he's home 5 months a year. He can spend 5 months a year with his kid, and he's making $40 million a year. That wasn't good enough for her. What do you think about him trying? Do you think he's going to try to get back with his wife? What do you guys think will happen in this situation?
I think, yeah.
What else do you
have when your identity's gone, your career is gone? What else do you have left?
He's got a $273 million contract with Fox News to be an announcer.
Okay, there's that. That's not what he loves, obviously.
Right.
Football is his identity. That's who he is. When he thinks of himself, he doesn't associate, oh, I'm Tom Brady, I'm nice and I'm handsome. No, he's like, I am football. That's what I am. Like, that's his identity.
I am football.
What do you think?
I think we go back to our comfort zones in general, and that's true. I mean, he's got an identity that he's built, and so once that gets stripped, you find your comfort blanket, and your comfort blanket.
So you think he'd try to go back with her?
Yeah.
Who's he dating? He's dating a college softball player or something like that?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that who he's dating?
I think dating.
Olivia, what do you think? Would you ever like, if you're a man and you had a lot of money,
dating,
would you ever
we mean
make him retire?
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't make him retire, but I'd be like, dude, it's time to stop playing with the guy friends and your balls, and it's
Fucking Gronkowski. He's a bad influence on you, mister.
Yeah, it's like stop slapping ass in the locker room and slap it at the house. Like,
He's making $40 a year.
yeah, but they're good.
How much is enough? What's a bigger boat? Like, what's a bigger house?
Like, how much more do you need?
Then why does she get to keep working?
I don't know. After that FTX scandal, he might need a bit more.
She's not all day long. Photo shoots are only a certain amount.
I think it's
at a
deeper
time.
than that. I think it's literally he breathes football. Like, he can't think of anything else.
It's
and she's
an
like, "Are
addiction.
you human anymore, babe? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Domo, what about you?
I think he'll definitely try to get back with her because he's a Michigan guy and they're very much a marriage-minded type of
Gotcha. Except he's not a
people.
Michigan guy. He's a Northern California guy.
No, he went to school.
He
in
went to Michigan,
Michigan,
but he's from San Francisco.
I mean,
Yeah.
He's a Tampa Bay guy right now.
I know he's a Tampa Bay guy.
So's Gronk. Gronk's wherever he goes.
Well, Gronk is another kind of animal.
Hey, speaking of another kind of animal, one of the things we talked earlier about the devil's threesome or whatever. One question I have to ask for you, Domo. When you and I did the interview, you told me about a scene that you filmed, an adult scene that you filmed, that I could not get out of my fucking head for like 3 or 4 days. What was the scene that you filmed?
I have no idea. Wait, hold on. Now you need to
Please
remind
share.
me because I've
You do a
done
scene with a person,
kind of.
and then the director steps in and then does something, and then the scene goes viral.
The cuckolds?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's what I'm really popular for.
You're popular for cuckold porn. Could you please go on with that?
Elaborate.
Describe more.
Would you like to know more?
Yeah. So I remember that when I filmed it, I had no idea what I was filming, and it got really popular. So basically, the director played the cuckold, and I had sex with a very large endowed black man, and then so I would tell Jimmy to sit in the corner.
Jimmy's the director.
Yeah,
And
or
he's-
that's
And he's
his name.
watching. He's watching this man have sex with you.
Did he get
Is
rustled?
this a new concept too, or you were?
No,
familiar
I'm
with
just.
it?
It just. I don't know
Okay,
anyone
okay.
who's filmed this. Have you filmed
Yeah,
this
so
before?
I haven't
He
filmed
was-
it, but I've been a cam model. It's really
Okay,
popular.
time out. We're going to do this in a second.
He,
We're-
he was
game on.
my husband, and so we had a contract. We wrote a contract in the scene, and the scene was that the guy fucks me. He, as my husband, listens to what I do, watches the man take care of me, and then after he, because he worships my pussy and my everything.
Time out. Hold on. Before you go on, in the chat, write what you think she's going to say. Give me 10 seconds. In the chat, write what you think.
Do it now.
Because you're probably wrong. Write what you think.
The show is participation.
Remember, she has sex with a black dude. He's on there. After they have sex, they're done. And now the cuckold husband is going to come over.
And he's a white husband.
He's a white husband. He's coming over. Write in the chat what you think he's going to do.
And you get bonus points if you can use Destiny's name in it.
There we go. Disgusting. No, come on, guys. What is it? Write in the chat what you think she's going to say. Hold on. Let's see if anybody gets it right. Okay, go ahead. What happens?
So he licks my cum pussy juice off of his dick.
And canceled. All right, guys. We'll see you on Rumble.
I'll take it.
Let's switch over to Rumble real quick.
So after, like, when I filmed it, it was really, I mean, actually just all of us, it was really, like, cool. I didn't realize how controversial it was until I went to Twitter.
What did they say about it?
Bear Market says eat the skeet. The lick of destiny. That's what he said. The lick of destiny.
The lick of destiny.
That's fucked up, man.
First, in Twitter, you know, a lot of the fans, and this is before OnlyFans, they really get lost in the fantasy. Like, if a non, like, you know, a white girl or a Mexican girl or whatever, if she has sex with a black guy, that's a big deal in porn. I didn't even realize that was a thing. But then to have the man suck off the male's part, that male performer, actually, he got really, really, like, bad ridiculed on Twitter. And it was, it's acting. It's
I was just about to say that. I always wonder why a lot of people are put into this box of shame when they film, like, adult content, but then we have people doing sex scenes on movies and they're fully married with 6 kids and a dog, and that's not a problem because they get awards for it.
They're
but
just telling a story, though.
Well, I know adult actors get.
So wait, you did cuckold cam modeling?
Yeah, like, well, I still do some cam modeling. It's really fun, actually. Yeah, that's probably, like, humiliation, like small penis humiliation, cucking, like, all of that's probably, like, the number one thing
that you do,
that most girls do.
Really?
Yeah.
Question. Okay, so I got a super chat here right quick. So, Rollo, what's your take on cuckolding? Why does it happen? That's what I was wondering. Like, because you guys are in the business. I know you are. Do you see a rise, like a trend for cuckoldry or for, like, a certain thing? Like, is it a bigger deal now than it was, say, kind of
way bigger now? Like, back then, that was still kind of like hush hush. It was starting to become a very more in demand scene. As it is now, it's almost normalized. And now people are even, like, I'm even seeing these scenarios in real life relationships.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that? Why is it? What's the cause? I mean, correlation wise, why do you think that it's more popular now? Is it a social thing? Is it just guys are just like, we're looking for the next thrill online because everything else is boring?
I don't know. I mean, it could be a little bit of both, and it could be also 2 ways. It could be either a man that isn't as endowed wants to, you know,
typically they
want to see it. They're curious. And then their wife or their girlfriend, they're like, honey, can you take a plowing, you know?
What is this pile driving?
But then there's also the other retrospect of some of these men are successful, they're CEOs, and in their private life, they're willing to give
up all power.
Yes, it's a power exchange. They want to be humiliated in a way that none of their colleagues at work, none of their employees, nobody in their career life would ever do to them.
It comes down to stimulation. Yeah, so you can. I think people are just bored, honestly, and they're, like, looking for what's next. They're looking for something they've never done.
So it's escalation then.
I think a lot of it is that, and then, but a lot of the men that are into, like, the humiliation avenue, they are not well endowed. Yeah, that's a super common thing. They want to see it done in ways they can't.
Are they showing you that they're not well endowed?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
They want you to laugh. Okay, look, I'll give you an example on camming, right? So this is people that are anonymous, right? Like, we're not seeing their faces. They just put their dick in the camera. And they want, like, I literally sit there and I'm like, you're
Don't
fucking
do that.
kidding me. Don't ever show me something so disgusting. And they love it. You're laughing in their face. I had one guy, I'll have to show you some pictures.
No,
Schoolgirl
you can tell
outfits.
me about it.
No,
You
schoolgirl
gotta show me some
outfits.
pictures.
Bikinis,
Describe it in terms
everything.
YouTube won't.
That looks like my
cancel
friend
us
Don.
for.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Well, no,
on camming, they pay for us to view their small penis.
Brady,
And laugh.
have you ever had to deal with this?
Are we talking about the small penis humiliation? Yeah. I do like dick ratings.
Yeah.
So they'll send pictures of
Really?
their dick, and you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. You kind of give like a little reason why.
Do they pay for that?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You can't send
You didn't
me.
know about this? I
You
knew about
know
this.
about this? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, guys,
I'm ready for the
ready?
meteor. I'm ready for the
this
meteor.
This is the clip. Ready? You three explain dick rating to Rollo Tomasi. Go.
So instead of us getting an unwarranted dick pic, we
Oh, you-
say, hey, $20 or whatever fee. You could send the dick pic and we'll give you an honest review.
And then there's guys who like to be humiliated. Like they know they have a small dick and they get off to you just like degrading them.
Yeah.
So they'll pay for that. Or there's guys that genuinely just want to know, like, you know, you've seen a lot of dicks. Like, what would you rate mine? Because they're, you know, they want to be hyped up or they just want an honest opinion. And
I'm seeing a growing demand from that. Now I'm getting a lot of requests for cum eating instructions, which is
Yep.
super.
That one I haven't wrapped my mind around yet, but I do it a lot.
See, this is okay. So
the technique is pretty interesting.
You asked because we saw each other at the AVN.
Sure.
You asked me because it's the first time I ever been. I was an AVN virgin. Who was the girl that we did the interview with?
Bridget B.
Bridget
You guys,
B.
we need to find
wow.
that.
Yeah, we got to find Bridget. Yeah,
interviewed
there's
us. It was
an
really
interview
interesting.
somewhere with us. Anyways, so you were asking me about this. I'm like from a sort of an analytical perspective. Like
Okay.
call me a porn wonk, right? Like I want to know the stats here because this is like quantitative, like data here. So this is the data set for 2022 of Pornhub. Okay, the searches that defined 2022. Number one, reality. Reality was the number one search.
what does that mean?
It means this. Reality category grew by 169%.
Oh, like Brazzer's house.
So it's real homemade searches grew by, it's amateur reality.
Yeah.
It's anything
Okay,
that like
okay.
sort of seems like it's real.
Oh, it's not like scripted. Like
Yeah.
just
Professionally
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Like,
Number two was gender, transgenderism.
Yeah.
Number three, group sex. Ooh.
Hey.
Hey, we're in a good company. Hey, outdoors was number four. Outdoors was number four. Why are you looking at me? Hey, you made the
Are they
list.
from Washington?
Ah, congratulations.
OnlyFans doesn't allow that anymore.
I know.
I was having sex all over the place, and all my videos got deleted.
This is Pornhub.
Yeah.
They also changed
Their
like, this one when
terms.
you have when you add another person.
Number
you have to, like,
five,
contract.
positions. Scissoring led the field.
Okay.
Feet, which I still
Oh, yeah.
to this day have
Oh, yeah.
no earthly idea why that would in any way be arousing.
Shout out to my bitches.
And number seven, coming in number seven on 2022 is femdom.
Do we know?
Would
any
you like to
femdoms?
tell us about? Could you describe?
No, you're findom. You do
I'm a
Findom,
femdom, but
yeah.
so basically I do femdom, but I have a price for it. So it's basically your feminine dominance. You show your feminine empowerment. You let these men know they get to worship all of you, and you you let them know you can degrade them. You can.
It's your world. They just live
it's
in
your world. They live in it.
You control
Actually,
the
right
frame.
before the show, I had my top bitch Justin was about to take me shopping for. I'm doing a live dominatrix show next week at Hustler Club, so he wanted to pay to buy me new boots, and then he wants to. In return, he wants my old used stripper boots.
I don't suppose Justin's in
incredible.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
No, different Justin.
Different Justin.
I'm curious.
He's from Florida.
The two of you not
Well.
having, the two of you being in functional relationships, not having any OnlyFans. What do you think about all this?
I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, all the power to you.
Wait,
Well
neither
done.
of you have OnlyFans?
Well, let me see if I can elaborate a little bit here. Topping this category.
Get it, girl.
since we asked the reality porn side of things, reality category grew by plus 169% to become one of the top 20 categories, while the popularity of amateur category has dropped slightly by minus 19. Our statisticians theorize that as more amateur models have become full-time performers, the quality of their videos has improved, but visitors are still seeking a real homemade porn experience. In fact, searches for real amateur homemade porn grew by 310% in the United States. Remember, this is in a 1-year period, okay? And plus 179% worldwide. The most common homemade search are threesomes. Over the past year, searches containing real grew by plus 42%, and most popular searches were real orgasm, real couple, real massage. So people want to see like real people doing it.
Shit. Hello, we're in a crisis, right? They can't do it. They gotta watch somebody else do it.
Well, do you think it's
you mean the crisis of the men not having any sex?
Yeah, they're like, shit, I gotta feel kind of like I'm there. I gotta be involved.
The two of you, any of this being from Washington and South Carolina, does this seem shocking to you? Do you find any do you find this offensive in any way whatsoever? I'm just curious.
No, I mean I'm all for to each their own. I think it's incredible that if you can capitalize on all the power and go for it, I think that's amazing.
Olivia?
I don't know where you think Charleston is, but it's not Little House on the Prairie. Like, shit goes down.
It's not Las Vegas either. I mean,
like,
Real
Las
Housewives
Vegas
of
has shown
Charleston.
me nothing I haven't seen before.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Las Vegas.
Would you get it? Would you get an OF?
I don't know. I mean, it's genius, and there's so much money in it. So, I mean, I don't know why I don't, but it's fucking awesome.
I know some girls.
I do that same shit at home. It's just not videotaped,
there you go.
or at least not posted.
There you go. It's not posted.
You know,
Brady's like, hey, here, give my number. I'll manage you.
Before I started to do dominatrix, like I didn't even know my power until I did a training. And so when I did my intensive training and stuff, and I started to learn, this guy like really turned my wheels. Then I started to take notice. So sometimes it's just a lot of women we just don't know.
Dylan, I'm curious. When you meet a man who clearly would not be interested in you dominating him, is like exceptionally masculine, is that a turnoff to you, or do you?
Not at all.
Do you prefer having a relationship with someone like that?
Yeah. My personal relationship. I don't need them to be a simp. I don't need them to want to have, a desire to have me dominate them. I mean, if they do, it's like I'm not opposed, but yeah.
Here's the lesson I want to take from this, because I know there's a bunch of guys in the chat like, I can't believe you're letting women speak. Haram! Well, the thing I want to point out for those of you guys are out there is from their I almost look at it like a mirror. What's happened is we have a bunch of women here who are remarking to you about men being creepy, men paying for shit on OnlyFans, the majority of men being simps, and then who are the men that they actually date? More masculine men, more men like essentially what we're describing.
Justin Waller.
Exactly. So that's what we're describing. It's like, if you guys want that, one of the things is don't be, again, I'm sorry, I know some of you guys have OnlyFans, but don't be on that side of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, don't be on the side of it where you choose to set boundaries, have masculinity, go to the gym, make a living, build a scalable business of something that you've always wanted to do, and network with other high status men. You're probably not going to end up in the situation where you're getting fin-dommed. I don't want to take away your business, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. It's a different type of man. It's that the man who wants to be fin-dom. They're a CEO. They're a doctor. They have PhDs.
They don't experience it anywhere else.
Yeah, so those men have already surpassed that level, and they have confidence to actually talk to a woman. So it's a little different. I mean, they may think that they're simps, but they're not.
They want to feel something. They actually have control. They're choosing
very
their situation.
intellectual.
They want to feel like a
it's
they're not any
intellectual stimulation.
Everything in the world is about sex except sex. Sex is about power.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Here's not my quote, by the way.
Here's another one. So I did a debate with Ruslan on Monday, and one of the topics that we had was Ruslan was talking about, in order for people to be happier in marriages, they should just sleep with fewer people before they get married. And my argument to that was, that is true for women. The studies do not show that it is true for men. So I'm curious for the 5
And yet,
ladies here.
70% of Christian men report being addicted to pornography.
Exactly.
Ruslan, checkmate.
Wait, they said we'll be happier if we have less partners before we get married?
So, for instance, it shows that for men who get married as virgins, 75% of them report very happy after 10 years. 65% of women report very happy. Every additional partner from that, it goes down. For women, it goes down very far once women get to 10 partners, but it actually goes up back to 57% once they get to 11 partners. For men, it actually goes way up after they get to 10 partners, and it stays out in the round like the 62% range. This is not a super accurate survey, but what it shows is that it's harder for women to maintain a long-term relationship the more men they've been with. This is just what the study says, not my opinion. And for men, it doesn't seem to have any effect. However, there does seem to be a bonus if you're a virgin and you get married. That's the only caveat that it comes with that. So men, now I'm curious for you ladies.
Should we ask the question?
Is body count important to you ladies for a guy that you want to have a long-term relationship with? Dumma?
No.
No. Olivia?
No.
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 You can't ask her anything.
I know.
Brandy? Body count.
Does it matter?
300 too much.
It's a great band.
No.
No. Okay, cool. Beautiful. Everyone says the same thing. Okay. There's a study done by Dr. David Buss in 1989. They ask about the virginity and the importance of virginity for women towards men. It was zero. Women did not care about a man being a virgin.
I would care that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want a virgin.
I don't want a virgin.
No.
That's exactly my point. Women thought it was odd when a man was a virgin later on in life.
Yes.
Thank you again, Ruslan. This
Like,
is exactly
it sounds
what
like
I'm
it
trying
could
to
be a
say.
fun fantasy, but
So,
I doubt it
body
really
count
is.
does matter.
Okay, so but a certain level of experience, right? Because this is just my opinion.
Well, actually, no. The body count doesn't matter. His performance does.
Correct, but his performance
So
is going to come
there
with
could be a
practice.
virgin that just I don't know, watched a lot of porn and knows what he's doing.
Maybe
I don't know.
that could happen. Not like.
You just don't ask it.
What do you mean?
You don't
I-
ask someone's.
I
just
have
mind your business. You
always
just-
asked.
Why? That's crazy.
I just need to
I'm an
know
intrusive
sometimes.
person.
And then
I
when
don't
they're
need to
really
know.
good, I'm like, "What's your body count?"
So have you
yeah.
asked
That's
before and heard a
Yeah,
body
yeah,
count that was
yeah.
just outrageous?
I agree with you.
Like in the 1500s
yeah.
range?
I don't know if you found that.
I don't. I have guy friends who have been 1,000 at most, and he was having orgies every weekend. Though.
Yeah.
But guys that I've been with, I mean, I've dated guys that were couple hundred, but
Yeah.
I didn't think that was outrageous.
Okay,
The low couple hundreds.
got it. Now here's the next question I'm going to ask for you. Do you think for men who want to date you, your body counts matter?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
No,
They're so sensitive about it.
You don't think that it matters for you?
I think when guys get with me, they assume my body count's higher than it is.
Okay,
And I've had them say that, and I tell them, they're like, "No way," because it's lower than most people think.
Catherine.
They've thought about it. Yeah, I think it
All right,
matters.
chat. What do you think it is? Jesus Christ, here we go.
Okay, once again, same study shows that yes, men for virginity was desired in China most of all over any places.
in China.
Over time, though, that didn't even matter. A woman being a virgin really wasn't that big of a deal, but having a lower body count was something that was important to men. And then the studies show that as women had more and more sexual partners, it became difficult. Once a woman had more than 20 sexual partners, it was like a 17% chance of her staying in a marriage. That's essentially what happened. She reported less happiness in the marriage and also reported a less than 20% chance of
Is
staying
that
in a marriage.
based on sexual experiences only, or
Different number of different individual sexual partners, number of unique sexual partners.
Right, but you're saying the women were less happy because they had more sexual experiences, or more were treated. You know what I mean? Would that necessarily be?
So the study doesn't go into that. The study just says that as women increase the
that's interesting because it's the guy could be really great, but maybe they've been treated better, and so they know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the issue is for us as men, women generally don't imprint on us sexually like the way that men imprint on women. This is the theory. This is the alpha widow thing that he talks about. In his book is the concept of you will, because you've had so many partners, you will remember that one was significantly better than the one
that
you're
rocked
with
your
now.
world the
there
most.
You go. You're shaking your head. You agree with me. So that's the thing. Occasionally, you will have a partner that was significantly better than the other ones. Whereas for men, it's if she's hot, she doesn't have to be. In fact, if a woman tries too hard to be good in bed, it almost comes off as masculine. Legitimately, if a woman is just with us and kind of does what we say, there's not it goes to 10 and then it just doesn't go any higher for men. This is
Really?
generally my experience. Yes,
I'm okay with
you and I
women
have these
trying
discussions, and it's always so crazy to you that you don't believe this. Men do not need comfort to have sex. That was the discussion that you and I had. Men don't need comfort. They're lying to you if they say they do.
The word wasn't comfort, but go ahead.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Just going back to what I was saying before, with men, the number of I know some girls. This is something I learned growing up. The nicest, most put together, prettiest girls that I knew growing up, their husbands had been with like 300, 400, 500 women. And I'd seem to see this all the time. And I began to understand that this body count thing only matters in one direction. Also, pre-selection only works in one direction. There's photos that they showed. I believe it was the Bust Institute or the Dr. Bust labs at University of Texas at Austin. They show men by themselves, men with a group of women, women by themselves, women with a group of men. When the men by themselves showed an average level of attractiveness below 5, when they had women around them, then they went up 2 or 3 points. When women showed an average attractiveness like a level of 7, and then when they had men around them, they didn't gain any points at all. Women being around a lot of men does not add to their attractiveness. Men being around a women does add to their attractiveness. So what I've done right now is I've shown 2 different things. Body count matters in 2 different ways. There is a double standard. And pre-selection matters in 2 different ways. There is a double standard. Because there is a fucking double standard. Men and women are different. That is the point of the show and what people find to be horrifically offensive when we bring this up. I do not have 2 X chromosomes. You guys do. I cannot give birth. And women in general are able to suss out hierarchies amongst men very, very quickly. Most of the time faster than men. Men, on the other hand, can throw fucking baseballs really fucking hard and bench press 300 pounds. That's the difference.
Well, I think there's also like it's easier for a girl to be able, like for a guy to hook up with any girl and finish, but it's really hard to find a guy who can make a girl finish. So it's if you can find that guy that can, it's like
so that's the one you want over and over again.
Because I know so many girls that are like, why are you still in this relationship? She's like, dude, the dick is so good. I get you.
Dickmatized. Sterling Cooper, I'm going to paraphrase it because I can't remember the actual tweet, but it was like a man who knows his way around a woman's body is like a compliment to that woman, because it's like he has been selected enough times to have had the experience, been rewarded with sex enough times to know his way around your body. And so therefore he can get you off. He's a good lover as a result of that. And that is like sort of the highest form of demonstrating higher value, is being good in bed. But it also comes with the price, I guess, of that double standard. The guy has to have had that experience so he can learn those skills, so he knows what the hell he's doing. And so, again, it's like trial and error.
There's another study. You guys want to look this up. Those of you who don't believe me, there's a study that shows that women have more orgasms the wider the shoulder to waist ratio of men. Have you read this before?
The
optimal hip to waist ratio for women is 0.72. The optimal shoulder to waist ratio for men is 1.65 to 1. When men have wider shoulders and narrower waists, women report having more orgasms with those men. Yes, look it up. Do not.
I would have never thought of that.
That makes sense.
Like, you ever hear like women talk like, you're always talking about guys in the gym, whatever. When they have like that V line, that makes sense.
Dude, I swear to God, you should sell my fucking program. Brandy, I'm going to give you an affiliate code.
I got another one for you.
Hold on, what would that mean, guys? What would that mean? Something that you could do.
Go to the
gym. You could go to the fucking gym and lose this fat around your waist. When you guys start eating massive amounts of red meat and just taking roids and you get this big old fucking bubble gut, that's not more attractive to women. What's more attractive to women is having a smaller waist and broader shoulders. How do you can work on delts and traps. That's how you do that. 71% of attractiveness towards men that women find comes from, ready for it, upper body muscle. That's what the survey said. Rich Cooper talks about that in his book. Upper body muscle, shoulder to waist ratio. Hey, black pill doomers, guess what? You can fucking change some of this, you lazy fucks. Like, this is the answer. So this is why I want to bring up some of these studies.
Are you guys attracted to dad bods?
No.
Yes.
No.
No. Hold on. Everyone except for Domo, are you guys attracted?
Let's bring this up. FOMO. Domo,
Yes.
you also do FinDom.
Yes.
The FinDom guys, do they have really muscular like bodies, or do they have dad bods?
Most of them have dad bods.
Okay, so you are starting to, do you understand what's happening? You're starting to align these men who fucking pay you with their bodies.
Not necessarily. It's because I told you before in the last show, like, I had hot guys and I'm traumatized because I found them involved with men.
Oh, so the really attractive dudes with the six packs were play gay.
Where they were doing gay.
Got it. They were doing gay for pay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there is no such thing as gay for pay. I'm sorry if I'm the first person to.
Yeah.
There's gay for gay.
A man who puts another man's penis in his mouth
only goes
is
that
not
way.
doing so for money. He's doing so because he enjoys putting a penis in his mouth.
Yeah.
I've got great associations with a dad bod, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of like...
Really?
Like, what do you mean?
I'm into it.
Tell me
Like,
about
the
this.
Sex is fantastic.
With dad bods?
It's the lower
Well,
belly you gotta
it's
use.
funny because I've literally... I mean, I've only been
Why do you
with
say that?
one, but I'm like, this is fantastic.
Why is it fantastic?
It's probably the man himself. But
Yes.
I don't know. Everything about... There's something comforting about it as well, and it's not... I don't know. I find it sexy. Like,
Okay.
if I'm physically looking at it, I'm like, fuck, all right.
All right, so here's the thing.
So he's out mowing the lawns, got a little bit of gut.
Yeah. It's not like... But there's a difference between
That too.
dad bod and obesity, right? Like, there's like...
Not really.
Yeah.
No, there isn't. That is what obesity is.
Not overweight.
No, it's not.
Overweight.
No.
There's
Yeah,
a difference
it is.
between obese and
There-
overweight,
yeah.
but yeah.
See,
Overweight.
the problem is you guys are considering Jason Momoa to be a dad bod. No, dad bod is
Yeah,
like
right.
the pasty overweight. Like, so here's the problem. What happens is when women get pregnant, the man that they're pair bond with, he starts producing more prolactin and he gets fatter because he needs to store up energy for the sleepless nights that are going to happen with the child.
You can't get away.
Yeah, so because of that, women start to associate seeing a dad bod with comfort. He's going to stay with me. There's a difference though between comfort and your vagina getting wet. Those are two different things. Okay, and that so women
true.
what
Sounds
they do,
like
what they do is
fucks and
beta bucks. What women do is they'll describe something that makes them feel comfortable, like Alex the accountant who's really nice and buys them gifts. But they're not attracted to that. What they're attracted to is Brock the bartender who hits them up in the middle of the night like, where you at? And then has no regard
Gonna
for
do
them
Brock
whatsoever.
dirty again?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Brock. Sorry, Brock.
Hell
He's
no.
out
Brock Purdy.
there. Brock is out there. But that's essentially what
It's
happens.
like the confidence in themselves, like the fact that they're
In
just
spite
like,
of the
I
fact
don't
they're fat.
give a fuck.
Yeah, in spite of the fact they're fat. Just let's point this out. The confidence in spite of the fact they're fat. Got
Hey,
it.
they're great people to go eat with.
Yeah, but somebody who
bet.
doesn't give a fuck about their body, like that's not
But
attractive
see, that's
to
the
me.
thing. That's I guess this is the
Not-
conflict here, is because I feel like not giving a fuck, like the person I'm talking about, like does work out and does do this.
Yeah.
It's not this like severely overweight.
Then I bet it's not a
They're
dad
still
bod.
toned.
Then I bet it's not a
Right.
dad bod.
That's
I
that's
bet it's
not a dad bod.
Well, with the photos in the magazines of the dad bods are famous actors whose wives are pregnant, so they get chunky, and then people are like, "Oh my god, that's so attractive." No, Leonardo DiCaprio is attractive.
He has a dad
He's
bod.
already, but he has a dad bod, but he was already attractive before. Oh, you think Vince Vaughn with a dad bod is attractive, or Elon Musk? No, you already attracted to him before. Men who already have status now they have a dad bod, and you're conflating that for attraction. There's not the thing for men is we don't need comfort. That's why we're not confused. If we find a-
Russell Crowe in Gladiator or Russell Crowe now?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good. Yeah, Brendan. Yeah, exactly. But no, the thing is, for men, we don't conflate the two because we only have one trigger: attraction. We don't need comfort because women have comfort and attraction. They confuse the two. They start saying things attract them, which are actually things that make them feel comfortable. But the problem is that a lot of men don't understand is like when a lot of men right now get this advice: you need to be more vulnerable with women. And the thing is, no, you cannot. Ready, guys? Write this down, all of you, everybody who's watching this. You cannot give value unless you have value. One more time, you cannot give value. You cannot go out there and be super fucking vulnerable with a woman unless you have value. If a homeless person comes up to Brandy Andrews and starts like, listen, I've just been going through a bunch of shit and blah, blah, blah. She's not gonna be like, okay, let's fuck. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. But if someone that your biggest crush of a movie star comes up to you and is like, hey, I've just been having a really rough day, you're like, oh my God, he's attainable. Now this super attractive man, he's building comfort with me. So now it's the comfort that goes with attraction. But if you cannot give value unless you have value. You cannot give comfort unless you have attraction. That's the way it works. Men screw this up over the time. Unless a woman finds, you can be vulnerable to a woman who finds you unbelievably attractive. If you are overly vulnerable to a woman who does not find you attractive, you are her gay friend. That's all that ends up happening.
No.
Kathy thinks you're full of shit.
Who? Go ahead, Catherine.
No, because I hear the gears
You
working
saw
there. I'm like,
everything.
she's like,
No, I think I was
she's
still
like,
stuck in the back of,
can't
like-
tell if he's full of shit.
No, I was going over the anatomy of a dad bod, and that I was still back
You're
there.
like touching
That's
it in your mind?
Where I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it's not a dad bod. It's
a show.
Let's get these muffin
She's
tops.
like,
Honey? Yeah.
you can still text him. It's okay. Just hit him up.
I got two super
mental
chats to get to here.
stimulation.
Rollo, Mike, really glad to see the show shaping up as you envisioned. Thank you very, very much for that. Ladies, thank you for taking part in the Red Pill conversation. Cheers. P.S. Ron equals Lay Rollo knows. Oh, thank you. Glenn Lawrence, who will be with us tomorrow, actually. What is interesting is that guys are not laid enough to the point that they are not wanting not wanting normal scripted pornography films, but just normal people doing it. Like, have we come full circle? Maybe that's a good question. So now, like, we wanted to see the most,
That's where I come in.
We wanted cuckold porn, and now we've come full circle to, like, I want to see a man and a woman who are married actually have sex, and they're happy about it.
Girlfriend experience that you were
girlfriend,
doing.
Yeah, that's what my, like, forte is, I guess. I do the whole, like, they try to just
pretend
say,
you care.
Like, not pretend they care, but just like
it's a premium.
Send us. Don't sit there and try so hard or do some scripted thing or whatever. I'm gonna send a Snapchat like I would be sending to like a friend or a boyfriend or some guy I'm talking to, and then save it and send it to them. You know what I mean? And same with like, I remember.
God, is that where we're at right now?
It is, because I used to get so concerned with because like I'm not a porn star. Like, I didn't do actual porn before OnlyFans
Studio
or any
porn.
of this. Right. I literally was with my boyfriend and was like, hey, we should start filming. And it was the most half-assed, like, just pull your camera, and people fucking loved it. Because I got in my head, I was like, I was seeing like what all my friends were shooting. I was like, oh my God, like, I'm not using a tripod, I'm not using lights, I don't even have my makeup done half the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
Nara
like,
Ford makes us all feel insecure.
yeah, and so I'm just like,
Travis, I think I can come up with a new format for us for the next studios.
Yeah.
so we're literally just doing it, and we'll be like, oh, we should film this, like, so we can, and like pull it out. And I got insecure for a while, and I was like, oh, I'm not doing this right, I need to try harder, like, this is so. But now the harder I tried, the worse it did. So I just went right back.
Point of view, POV stuff is considered girlfriend experience.
But it's
right?
he mentioned when he was reading it, it's also has to do with like the quality. He said like people were trying to do like high quality POV and they didn't like it. It's literally like I pulled my camera out, the lens is still dirty, she doesn't have her makeup on. You can see all my stretch marks or scars or whatever, and just boom and send it because it's realistic to them. The guys that are watching
reality
it,
#1 category.
the guys that are
2022.
watching it can relate to it. It's not like, oh man,
attainable.
I would never sleep with this girl and her hair and makeup's all done and the
You
guy
feel
is all
attainable.
like,
It feels more real.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say is like that's why I think reality porn and what you do, girlfriend experience. God, that's tragic.
I do girlfriend experience
Well,
too.
but the reason why that I think that's popular, particularly like girls who are on OnlyFans right now, the ones who are like the really top, like 0.001%, they're not like 9s and 10s with like, they don't have like big circus tits or anything like that. They look like the girl that's next door. That's possibly it's in the realm of possibility. I could possibly get
That's
that.
what
chick.
a lot of our management has been telling us. Like,
Oh, really?
Hey,
So they're
quit
aware of
doing
it.
your makeup. Hey, stop taking 5 takes because you had a booger hanging out or there's something in your hair. We're like, just go with it. Whatever is real, just do it because the guys like it more. So I've seen girls actually purposely like, oh,
They
I'm
want to
wipe
pretend
my
you
makeup
just
off
woke up and
before
want to
I
get
film.
after it with them.
Yeah, I have found content without my makeup on, I do a lot better. Or it does a lot, yeah.
So I get a lot of heat from a lot of critics who want to talk about incels and like particularly even on the Dr. Phil show they were saying Rollo the red pill and the manosphere and these incels and everything, you're radicalizing these guys to be like these psychotic OCD guys and everything. I'm like, no, it's not us that's doing it. It's a fact that they were already that way to begin with, and I can I'll lay it before the feet of the people themselves who want the attainable girl in the first place. They want the girlfriend experience. They want reality porn. They want something. They want to know that somebody on the other side of that screen actually gives a shit about them, and they're willing to pay a small fucking fortune so they can get a nice little text from somebody that says, "How was your day, honey?" That's all. That's what we're lacking to the point we can commodify that.
How about this? 80% of men are deemed unattractive on dating apps, and 33% of men have 0 sexual partners. But you think red pill is radicalizing people? No, motherfucker, it's not. The reason why they're upset is because of that. It's so crazy to me how
raising awareness.
How they just keep. It's so crazy to me how they want to blame other. No, they're living lives of desperation. That's the red pill is not what made them radical. They were radical because they've got nothing.
No.
You think people strapping their a fucking suicide vest at their chest are doing so because they have upward financial mobility and a lot of women today?
Matter of
they
fact,
do it out of fucking desperation.
No, they do it because they clinically have OCD, and I can prove that to you. I've got data sets for. Sorry, I'm going to give you play Mr. Wizard here again. But the reason why I know this is because that guy who was on Dr. Phil, Imran Ahmed, I knew he was going to try to come at me. I wish he would have on this particular topic because I was ready for him. Because it was at the same time that the FBI or whatever was doing their reports on the incel communities at that time and saying, oh, these manosphere guys, they're radicalizing them. And we're going to have another Elliot Rodger, who was, by the way, 2014. Okay. So you can let that one go and move on to the next one, or Alec Manazian, or the rest of these guys are like sort of these incel killers. I looked that up and I go, well, why is that the case? Were they already fucked up before they became what they were?
Talked about
and
this,
the truth is they were, because there are studies out there, and it's usually like religious or socio-political studies for the guys who are the worst killers for like radicalization. They all share obsessive compulsive disorder. And I would argue that is that's where you ought to be looking, and not at our community.
So here's the thing: if you consider this concept, right? With a cartel boss. A cartel boss, they tend to be sociopaths. Because if they're not sociopaths and they show empathy to other people, what happens?
They get killed.
They get killed. So being a cartel boss selects for sociopaths. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It doesn't. You don't become a cartel boss and then all of a sudden your neurochemical pathways in your brainwave change and you become a sociopath. No, you're there because you're a sociopath. You're already there. Red pill is just a derivative of evolutionary psychology. There's no like union card we all get. We don't pay a red pill dues to belong to the red pill. The concept of it is what happens is these men who are frustrated, they were already frustrated going online looking for some sort of lever in order to
looking
use that
for the girlfriend experience.
Looking for the girlfriend
looking for somebody out there who gives a shit about them.
Or looking for a scientific rationale for their hatred towards women. But the hatred came first. The rationale came second. There's no rationale. Like, Rollo and I do not hate women. I love women. But the problem is a lot of these guys will then come here and then they'll create an echo chamber. And then what happens is from the outside looking in, the media will see, oh, look at these hateful men in this group. Therefore, the group made you hateful. No, motherfucker. The group did not make you hateful. You were hateful, and you were looking for a group to belong to.
Already there.
That's essentially what happened. Because people don't. This is another thing that just drives me crazy. People do not go through trauma and become sociopaths. You are born that way. It is a genetic disorder. I've had this fucking this. There is no cure for sociopathy, and that's the problem that's going on. These people are not redeemable. And I have this discussion with people all the time about, oh, so-and-so did this, but he can change. Like, no, these people cannot change. Mm-hmm. But they were like that when they were 5, 6, 7 years old.
And then when didn't show. And
when they grow up, and now that what happens is they were looking for a way to manipulate people to get something for nothing. So, hey, pickup looks good. We'll go into pickup. Oh, look, this red pill goes, we'll go into this, and we'll take our already fucked up beliefs.
Solve my problems. Yeah, sheep looking for a shepherd.
Exactly. That's essentially what happens. And so they get blamed. But then the radicalization gets blamed on people on YouTube. No, one more time. The world is unfair. These men are being ignored. Women are not choosing men on dating apps that are even 5'11". That's too short for them. There's swaths, millions of men that are just being completely ignored. We're the ones radicalizing you? Take a look in the fucking mirror.
You're on OnlyFans, correct? Or you're on OnlyFans, and Brandy, you're on OnlyFans as well? Yes. Still? I know about you.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of? Do you have? Well, I know you have Instagram, but you're not. But you're an.
She posts once a year.
You're an actress, so maybe this is not relevant to you. And do you have OnlyFans? Or do you have like a presence? How long have you been married?
Dating for almost 6 years.
You're not married yet, but
Not
you're
yet.
long term. You feel it's gonna any day now, right? Okay.
Yeah, any moment now.
And you're serious with the dude you're
Yes,
with? How long
yes,
have you?
I'm
How long have you
engaged.
been with him?
2 years now.
Mm.
Yeah, and we're engaged.
You can give me a ballpark for this if you don't want to give me the exact name. But how old are you?
I'm 28.
30.
33.
I already know you.
33.
33?
26.
So we got 26 all the way to 33, 34. Yeah. So the reason why I like to bring that up is because you're at different phases right now in where you are in life right now. So how long have you been with the guy again?
The
2 new one? 2
You were
years now.
21 when we met? Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
I know, right? Well, and by the way, she's an actress. That's even better than that. No, the reason I'm saying that is because like at certain times in your life, you're going to start looking for a guy that's like sort of different than the guy that you were looking for or getting after with when you were 21, 22, 23
Absolutely.
years old.
Have you changed the people you were chasing before and then now?
Absolutely.
Olivia, have you gone through a metamorphosis with this?
Well, you've been with the dude for 6 years, though.
Yeah, I met him, like I said, at 25. So when he laid like all these things out on the table the first date, I was like, that's a lot of baggage.
What did he lay out? If
He has 2 kids.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, he
I mean,
was
just you can be as vague as you want.
Because I was 25 and he was like, ideally in my head I was like, I don't want someone over 30 who's been married before, who has kids. And the first date he was like, I have 2 kids, been married before, divorced, and I'm 31. I'm like, that's a lot of baggage. Don't lie or don't cheat on me. So
When he had the kids, did that make him more attractive to you?
it was scary, but
Was he like he's a proven commodity, or was it just because his ex was psycho?
no, not a psycho at all. It just worked out. Like, they have a really good relationship still. They're friends, so I kind of got lucky in this whole situation.
I think what Rollo's getting
Well,
to...
we read a comment. What was the comment? It was like...
The comment was like, do women find men with babies attractive? Like when they have kids, are they
single father more attractive? Well, I would say yeah, definitely yes, but...
I mean, yeah, when I first
say no.
I don't.
I do.
When I first
That's
met
why I thought
them,
it was
yeah.
interesting.
You see that bond?
It seems to not, on dating apps, not have the same negative effect that it does for women. When women report being single mothers, it does not help their cause. When men report being single fathers, it doesn't seem to hurt them at all. In some cases, it helps them. It's almost similar to going to a club.
It's pre-selection.
When a woman goes to the park with a puppy, dudes do not go like, "Oh my god," they still want to talk to the girl. When guys go to the park with a puppy, it tends to help them a lot. Yeah.
Oh, he's be a good provider.
I do wonder, because I'm like, no. That's why the question was so like, because I was just talking about this recently. I'm like recently single, as in like the last 6 months out of an 8-year relationship. Since I was 18, I was with the same man, and we have a child together. So I'm like, is it because I'm a mother? I'm like, or is it because I have main character syndrome? Am I like, I want to be the only person in your life? I only focus on me.
Main character
or
syndrome.
Is it? Yeah.
All right.
I don't even know if that's a real thing, but I have it.
Nesting, yes.
But before I had my child, I was like, oh, so cute, like you, like, because we do seek comfort.
So you have a baby already?
Yeah, I
you
do.
have a child. You have any kids?
I have 2.
You have 2 kids. Okay. Damn, everybody, you don't
I
have
have
kids.
1.
No, I don't. I have
I
stepchildren.
know you have one.
You have stepchildren?
I've got he's got 2 children. Yeah.
Again, we said like 2 examples
Wow.
of this where the 2 of you are both engaged to men who have 2 kids each.
She engaged?
Twins,
You engaged?
2
I'm
twins.
engaged.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
engaged, okay.
yeah.
Oh, twins.
And they're 14 now, but I met them at 8. And
I know.
now I'm-
You guys can play 2-on-2 basketball with that family.
Hey.
Sounds amazing.
She's a mom. You have 2 kids.
17.
Brandy, you have 2 kids? 2 children. From, you weren't married before, were you?
Yeah.
Or you
So
were?
I have 1 kid from just a guy I was with when I was younger. He passed away. And then I got married in 2018. And I was married for about 4 or 5 years, and I had a kid with him.
And now you're not with him, and you're with the guy
And
with...
yeah, and
Hey,
then we
Travis,
split, and now
Do you think you'll have kids with the new guy?
So I actually, after...
Do you want kids with the new guy?
I do. After I got married, I obviously never thought I would be divorced or anything like that. I got my tubes removed, and then I got a abdominal ablation. So basically, I could never have kids or a period or anything. So it's like, oh, great. But yeah, I also didn't think I would be getting divorced and married again. So yeah, now that I'm with the new guy, he has no kids of his own. So yeah, we're going through like other ways to try. But
I see.
yeah.
Oh, yay.
And how many
That's
kids
awesome.
do you have?
I have 1.
You have 1 child. How old?
4.
4. Okay. Wow. Gosh, we're a table full of mothers.
Well, almost 5.
Mothers and stepmothers. Soon
Well,
to
now I'm
maybe.
feeling
Who
it. I'm
knows?
30
Yeah.
now, so I'm like, okay, I'm seeing babies now. I'm like, they're so
It's a
cute.
good year.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, anyways, you guys have proven my case for me here.
Yeah.
Well, so
It's
I mean,
correct.
what he was saying is that I'll ask the question here is like if you see a guy, well, you're single too, so
Yeah.
if you see a guy who has a child, does that make him more attractive as far as like maybe like the beta bucks, like provisioning, protection, and parental
me,
investment?
now it does because now I understand the
Now
amount
you're
of work,
32.
especially if they're a responsible dad. Like that's sexy to me because that's hard. You know, it's easy to be a deadbeat dad. You
But
know?
it sounds like none of you have had to deal with like the psycho baby mama kind of stuff though either. So
That's a lot.
different.
Yeah, I
It
think
is.
about that too. I also think I'm just in a different
Yeah,
phase
the
of my
other,
life.
yeah, no, not.
I have it. I mean, again, and like the guy I had my first kid with didn't have any other children. Then the guy I had my second kid with didn't have any other children, and the guy I'm with doesn't have any other children.
Wow.
So it's so attractive to me when I see him with my kids because he's better
good
with
with
my kids than their real dads are. You know what I mean? But I don't know if it would be the same way around if like he had his own.
See,
kids.
I'm of the opinion. Now, this is just me spitballing here. Is that like you want to talk about double standards once again? That is a double standard. Men tend to be hesitant, if not like completely repulsed by women who are single mothers. At least for long term, like you don't want to wife up a single mommy, right? Recreational use only. Thanks, guys. But for women, a guy that has a child already is a proven commodity because some woman actually bred with that guy, and now he is invested in his son or daughter who is there, and now suddenly that's more attractive because that's proof. It's technically social proof, and it's pre-selection because he has already passed one of the tests, which is he parentally invested. Clearly he is. He's got his own kid here. Would you like to be? That's part of his frame. In fact, it's already preset. Do you want to? He has a world. Do you want to enter into that world? That world includes a son or a daughter, or however many kids he has. I think that when women get to between the ages, say like 29 and 31, 32, somewhere around there, that guy becomes a lot more attractive than when you're 22 years old, 23 years old. And you're like, I don't know. That's kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready to be to play mom yet.
Yeah.
And
it's
so,
super hypocritical of me, but I can't say that I would have had kids if they had kids with someone else.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you have even got with them if that was the case?
I probably would have got with them, but I wouldn't be inclined to have kids with them.
Right. So recreational use only.
Yeah, but you already have one. You're good.
Mm-hmm. And so again, that's totally unfair. I'm so attracted to guys who only have one kid, who have single daddies. But you're not. How dare you not be attracted to a woman who is a single mom? So that's a double standard. Again, the guy who has a lot of sex, he's a hero. The girl who has a lot of sex, she's a slut.
What did Jesse Lee Peterson? He said, a girl who has a lot of sex is a hoe. He goes, then what does that make you? He goes, I'm a hoe maker. Shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson,
God
the craziest motherfucker ever.
Yeah,
I got to read. I've lost my super chats, and you just send them to me. Here we go. Go into and ask the ladies about Tori Groves' thoughts on birth control making women want betas more. Want betas more on birth control and vice versa. Okay, guys, listen.
I got a study for that.
This is mind blowing. So there's these studies that show that when women get on birth control, they are actually more attracted to men who have less masculine features. They'll get married to these men who have less masculine traits and less masculine features. Then they will go and say, well, it's time for us to start having a baby. They will get off of their birth control. Their estrogen levels will go down. Their testosterone levels will go back up, and they'll balance to normal levels. And they will look at this beta cuck that they're fucking living with and be like, what the fuck did I do? Why did this happen? And we have a 53% divorce rate in this country. The theory is that what I just espoused to you is a theory. There's studies that back this theory up. Do you guys have any input on this as far as birth control, the dermal thing you put in your arm or whatever? You take hormonal birth control. Have you guys noticed anything like this before? When you get on birth control, you get off the things that you're attracted to. Anybody?
Are you more attracted to one kind of guy when you're on birth control, and are you more attracted to another guy when you're off of it?
I've always liked pretty boys. It's like I have to stop. Like that was on birth control, off birth control. I've dated the same guy 5 times in a row.
Describe pretty boy. Give me an outline. Illustrate for me.
Okay. I'm so telling on myself.
Because I know guys are going to say this. How come girls like the emo guys and the
birth control?
Yeah,
that's why.
No, like the high cheekbones, the light eyes. My child's father's light skin with green eyes and like curly hair. Like it's just like he's just a pretty boy. He's got the high cheekbones, the pretty teeth. Like I just like pretty. That's another reason I know I'm gayer than I thought. But I just think that I've always liked pretty guys on birth control. I haven't been on birth control since I was.
You mean like metro guys?
No.
Effeminate?
No. No, paint your nails or get too feminine with me. I don't like that. But like
she's talking about facial symmetry,
like features. Yeah,
bone structure and facial
symmetry. I don't really like
super
jacked dudes. Like I don't like that. Like I'm not.
Yeah, me neither. I've never been with any jacked dudes.
That's good.
Brandy,
you've only slept with one.
Have you had experiences on birth control or off control? I'm curious. After your ablation, did that affect your hormonal levels?
I've always had really high testosterone levels, and it raised my testosterone levels even more. Actually,
because your body's not producing as much estrol anymore because your ovaries have been ablazed.
Yeah, I was on birth control off and on like my whole life. I guess I wasn't paying attention at the time, so I don't really know. I didn't notice at the time that it affected the kind of guys I date. I feel like I've always dated the same kind of guys.
Domo, what about you?
I've always kind of dated the same type of guys. I think getting off birth control just made my libido like much more.
That's the most commonly reported.
Yeah.
Do you guys understand what birth control is?
So I wonder though, she likes like the more feminine looking. Like you're saying that's like a side effect of being on birth control.
It
so
is.
I wonder if her estrogen levels are really high compared to
my
mine.
estrogen and my prolactin levels are really high.
Okay, it's like because I have high testosterone and I'm like super attracted to like masculine, like
Yes.
very
Are you
masculine.
on the pill right now?
You have dated dudes who look like
But
they
she
have
can't
murdered
get pregnant.
7 or 8 people. Yes.
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, she doesn't need to be, right? Yeah, because
Yeah,
you're not clearly you're not on a pill right now.
No.
You wouldn't need to be.
Have you noticed anything, Olivia, on and off birth control? Have you ever noticed anything?
I've actually never taken birth control my whole
Okay.
life.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
And you guys said we don't get normal girls on this show.
Wow.
I love that actually. I'm
Go
a little
fuck
anti birth.
yourself.
So, yeah.
Catherine?
I took it really briefly in high school. I had severe acne, and it was just a medication to treat my acne. And then my brother was a medic in the Army. And, he was actually a ranger specialist, but went into the medic field and was like, do not take birth control. Called me up and was like, please stop doing that. It is deteriorating your bones, and it is horrendous. And so before I really even got to the sexual phase of my life, I didn't really have a...
It is crazy. Yeah, how many women I know 16 years old already on birth control? And like,
I did it when I was 16.
yeah, it's
I was 14 on it.
so it's supposed to mimic you being pregnant, so your body stops producing, stops having periods. That's what's supposed to
I
happen.
just don't like that. I don't like birth
I
control.
just got mine cauterized.
Yes, you did. Yes. All right. Interesting.
Highly
Well, I was gonna say,
Another lady
where did I go?
that was
I've got
I don't have
a.
anything to
Hold on.
compare it to.
Girls, if a man uses Viagra, would you want to know about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody know? Yeah, all of you.
Yeah, I
Or would
would
you
know.
care? Any of you not?
I don't care.
I don't care.
Was-
As long as you can get
I
the
would
job
wanna
done.
know about
Yeah.
it.
Why
I
would you wanna know
didn't
about it?
fully understand.
Because it's
I did not fully understand until like this month what Viagra really did.
Yeah.
Because there's
It's a blood flow issue.
yeah, but I didn't know like oh, so it just gets you hard, it helps you get hard, or it just helps keep you hard, or it helps you come. Like I didn't know until recently. Like
It's
what it really
very
does.
little neurological effect, and just it's a vascular effect.
Right,
Yeah.
but I didn't know like if guys took it just to get hard, or did guys take it to stay hard longer, or did it like I didn't know.
What did you?
it
I've
did.
never taken it. What did you find out?
He said that it's not like for getting hard. It just keeps you hard. Like you don't have to be horny. You don't have like you're just. We
Yeah,
used it because we were cloning his dick, like one of those. you know what I'm
oh
talking
yeah,
about?
clone
Like
a
those-
dick.
Yeah.
Cloning his dick.
Yeah, I wanted
It's-
I
To
wanted
get
like
an
a
extra
dildo
dick.
of his dick.
So
So
Like
we've
a
gone from pictures of
beautiful
dicks
dick.
to an extra dick.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
he has
can.
a very like aesthetically pleasing.
You
dick.
can mold
So
it.
I was.
When I started this show, I had
Yeah.
no idea it was going to go this way.
Oh yeah, so you can mold it into like whatever, and so he has to stick it in this mold, and he has to leave it in there for a couple
Oh,
minutes while it gets
cap.
Yeah,
so he
yeah,
puts
yeah,
the
yeah.
Viagra
Yeah.
to keep it hard. You know what I
Plaster
mean?
caster,
While
got
it's
it.
in there, and this whole time I'm like, I could just do things.
Are you going to
do
make
that,
it? What are you
Arts
going to
and
mount it on the
crafts.
wall or something?
I'm gonna masturbate with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
When I'm going to start,
good
I'm
idea.
going to start a band, and it's going to be
DIY
called
dick.
Aesthetically Pleasing Dick. That is the name of my band.
Well, it's that Kiss song, Plaster Caster.
There we
Kiss
go.
fans will know. Meta-analysis. This is from Rolf Dengen. Contraceptive use was not associated with any sign of female sexual dysfunction. Tory Grow. Though women on the pill reported lower sexual desire. That's what I think. I don't think it's the depression of the it tricks you into thinking that you're
Oh, you just
it's-
want dudes who don't want as
Right.
much sex.
I'm just saying. What I'm saying is that
Ah.
when you're on the pill, I mean, I've got it. Right, I've got the study right here. It's on Science Directive, and this is like a real study. This is not like some bullshit, thing. This is qualitative, quantitative studies here. Though women on the pill reported lower sexual desire
Yeah.
when they're on. When they come off, then they report that it
When
goes
I
up. That's what I think they're misconstruing as like, oh, I didn't want to get with this guy anymore. Well, maybe it had something to do with the fact that like you're more horny and you go like,
Or-
this guy's not as good as the guy I could get over
Yes.
here. And now that
Right.
I'm more horny, I want to get with him instead of
Yes.
You
him.
lower your
Sure,
standards
sure.
for sure when you're.
So hornier? Hold on, time out. So everyone, please put the camera on her. Put the camera on me. You lower your standards. What?
Wait, what did I
When
say?
you're hornier, so higher testosterone levels, higher libido, you're off the fucking birth control. What happens?
I feel like when it's been a while, and I don't know, it's just when it's been a while and it's just built up, like you start being attracted to people that you wouldn't normally be attracted to.
Guys call it
because it's
slump
just like-
busting.
Yeah, we call it beer
Whale
goggles.
hunting.
Beer goggles.
No, but that's when
Big
you have
game
like
hunting.
that post nut clarity too. It's like you were just really horny and like say you've had sex in a really long time and all of a sudden like guys that weren't attracted to you before are becoming attractive and then you sleep with them and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
And you know what happened.
That goes
right
back to the
after.
thing the guy said before. That post nut clarity for women has led to dudes getting charged with sexual assault.
Post-nut clarity is just a flow of oxytocin that wasn't there before.
All right, guys, let's do this real quick. The next one is the next question. Shout out to, let me see his name right here. Fonzie C. He asked another one. Should high-value men be allowed to cheat?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I have to no,
for that one.
We'll finish out the show on this one.
Go ahead.
I was just having this conversation with someone recently. What do you consider, I'm curious, ladies, like what makes a man high value to you?
Nothing.
I'll just start. Okay. For me, a high value man, like it's really about discipline. So like I don't like dad bods because you don't go to the gym, you don't care about yourself. I like to see discipline. I like a man that leads because I like to be submissive. I'm a very dominant person in my day-to-day life. I want to be submissive. I want to feel like I can be submissive to you. So if you don't have discipline, that shows you can't lead, which shows I can't be submissive to you, so I'm turned off. So that's what makes a man high value to me, is if he can get me where I want to be. So maybe it's a little vain, but I'm curious what makes a man high value? Is it because he has a lot of money?
What do you guys think makes a man high value, and then should high value men be allowed to cheat?
Obviously, financials, assets, home, car, if they have a company.
I just noticed that the girl who finds dad bods attractive thinks that high status men it's based on assets and finance. I mean, that's not an accident. I don't know.
I'm just saying that's what I feel.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Should be allowed to cheat.
That depends. I don't think they should be allowed. I think there should be a conversation that if you want to be in an open relationship, then that should be discussed. I don't think there should be an allowing.
Of course. Randy?
No one should be like allowed to cheat. Like, again, if you want to be in an open relationship and you guys are on the same page, by all means, but like allowed to cheat implies that they're doing something behind your back you didn't agree on and you're saying, okay, I'm going to let it go because you have high financials or whatever.
I totally agree, and I think he should have used a different word. I think he should have said allowed to see other women instead of cheating, because cheating involves lying. What creates a high status man to you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm the wrong person to ask because I'm a very independent woman. I don't think there's anything a man could do that I can't do. To a certain extent, like obviously I can't go bench press 350 pounds, whatever. But I mean, as far as like finances and things like that, like
because you do make a lot of money on
I make a lot of money, and I'm very smart with my money, and I'm capable, and so like I don't think there's anything a man could do that's so superior to me that I'm like, oh, okay, do whatever you want to me because I'm gonna, give in.
Olivia, what's a high status man, and should he be allowed to cheat?
I don't know. I don't think anyone is so higher up than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone acts higher up than I am, that's already a turn off. Like what we go back to before, it's like that rude flirting. Not interested. Like if you're not equal or treat women equal or anyone equal, even servers or bartenders or janitor.
You probably, as atmosphering, you've probably seen clients act like this before.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care. Everyone's equal. Like, it's just... No.
I think the way you phrased it, too, is like it almost comes off disrespectful. So it's almost like
right?
Should you accept the disrespect?
You're not so much better than anybody that you should be allowed to disrespect them, is what I mean. I'm not trying to sound like arrogant.
Hold on, Catherine, what do you think? What defines a man as high status?
I think I have a societal expectation in the sense of obviously financial stability, but not to me. To me, I'm very self-sustaining. So it's I need you to provide me emotionally a lot of little places where I lapse, right? So I need you to be able to fulfill that for me. But that being said, we're going to have open communication, and you can go do whatever the fuck you want. Not cheat. It's always respect, because we have a mutual respect for each other. That is the difference.
Okay, so what I would think if I was a woman, I was answering this question, I would say, to me, just from a what's it called, a population level survey, it would be women who are super, super attracted to a guy. That's what would define him as high status. That, to me, that's the only thing, because what you found to be attractive and what you found to be attractive were totally different. Therefore, defining high status cannot be defined contextually. It can only be defined by how do you react to him physiologically. So when you have that, what you said, you want your wife to change religion and crawl over broken glass.
Yeah, well, that's genuine
high
desire.
Value is based on their physical appearance?
Negative. What I'm saying isn't. What I'm saying is high value is defined by the three of you in completely three different ways.
One aspect.
But the only thing that matters is that you're incredibly attracted to him. That's the The only common thing I've heard as far as high status men, when defined by women, is incredibly attracted to them. Especially for a woman who makes a lot of money, money is not going to necessarily define him as high status. For a woman who doesn't, it is. And for a woman who is only attracted to men for their physical appearance, then it's going to be different things. But those different things lead to physiological attraction towards this man, genuine desire. The genuine desire is what I think contextually makes that man high
Having
status.
genuine desire for your man, I think that defines high value. I was looking in the chat, and they're going to, well, what does Rollo say? A lot of things. First of all, money, muscles, and game. You have to outclass a woman right now. Clearly, everyone at this table says, I make my own goddamn money. And if he doesn't make more money than I do, then this, because essentially, and you're not, by the way, I don't want to pick on just you, because I could go on Fresh and Fit, and every goddamn girl on that show will say exactly the same thing. I have a cookie business or some shit like that. And if he doesn't make more than the cookie business, then I'm going to be.
Do you guys realize what he's saying? Like, that doesn't make you more attractive? Do you guys understand that or no? Okay,
having a business, being a strong, independent woman, all that means is you're independent of guys. Okay, it's not like, oh, I'm independent, I'm going to go be this brave chick in the world.
But then it makes us able to say things like there are girls out there who are married to a guy who is way more financially stable. Like the girl has nothing. The guy has the finances, the looks, whatever. And he may go cheat on her, and she has to say like, oh, like I'm gonna have to let this one slide because I can't go do anything for myself. So that's the difference.
Again, that when you get into those situations, and I'm not saying that they're all. I think when we get into these conversations, like with like Fresh and Fit or Kevin Samuels, and everybody says a high value man should cheat. You will never hear those. The word should will never come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. I deal in is. I don't deal in should. Okay. A high value man can cheat. He certainly could if he wants to. Depends on what his lifestyle is and who he is as a person. That's number one. Number two is can he cheat? Does he even have the opportunity to fucking cheat? Because as
Everyone
we just
can.
said, no, they cannot, because they don't have the option.
Of men have zero sexual partners.
I was going to say they don't have the opportunity to. It's to cheat. There's two things have to exist. There has to be a reason, and there has to be an opportunity. The vast majority of men today have no opportunity to cheat unless they go to a hooker and they say, "Here's my $800." Right? Unless they want to make that happen. And usually when they make that happen, it's because they have a reason to cheat. Lots and lots of men have a reason to cheat. They just simply can't sit at a table filled with gorgeous women and walk home with one of them because it just doesn't happen for guys.
New fear unlocked.
It's way.
What are you afraid of, Brandy?
I mean, I'm not personally. I'm just saying, like, imagine all those women who think they're like all safe and secure, but it's really just because their man can't cheat on them.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Because what men do is they make their necessity a virtue. Okay, so they say, "I would never cheat on you."
Never cheat on me. It's like, well, he just
can't cheat on.
It's just women like are so delusional when it comes to some of these ideas. Like, oh, the reason why my man doesn't have an Instagram is because he's a businessman. He wants to be. No, he has a fucking wife and kids that he's hiding from you. That's what's going on. It's so crazy when this shit happens, and the women they think it's so dear. Oh, my man would never cheat on me. I was like, he's either closet homosexual, he has extremely low testosterone, or he's cheating on you and you don't know about it. That's essentially what's going on.
So my difficulty, and by the way, I've written several articles about this. I've gone on several different shows when we talk about like I've talked about polyamory and how it's the new hotness now, right? And really all that is a put that anywhere. That's fine. It's a mating strategy. It's an adaptive mating strategy. I can't find some monogamous girl to give me the girlfriend experience like in real life. So I'm gonna be okay with sharing this chick in a throuple or a polycule or whatever the fuck whatever cutesy term we're gonna come up with it. Yeah. All you're talking about is polyamory, and by the way, that's probably one of the worst ideas for parental investment that you can do right now.
Well, okay. So polyamory is different than polygyny.
I understand that, but the way that we're describing it, we're trying to turn it into a quote unquote lifestyle, an alternative lifestyle. Then we are. I understand the definitions, but I'm just saying, like in popular culture right now, we're trying to turn this, and that's what gets me is like I know guys, and you know guys too, who have their main, and then fucking the buffet is open, right? Okay, and you know who those guys are? They're very attractive guys. And they make a whole lot of money, and they are what anyone would say. They're the 4.5%ers. They are the high value of the highest value. The main is where you're talking about here. She's got no other choice. Like, what am I going to do? But he loves me the most. He comes back to me, and he has an investment in me as far as like long-term security is concerned, because I'm his main. I'm not his side chick. And then he has a bunch of side chicks, right? and that in the hopes that at some point he's going to mature and get it out of his system, and now he's going to settle down and have a picket fence and a golden retriever and 2 kids in the yard and a station wagon. Okay.
What did Justin Waller say? He goes, "You're my queen. They're all hoes."
So when you say like they can't cheat, then because you asked me earlier, like, oh, do you not have threesomes because the caliber of man? And I could say, like, obviously, yes, like the caliber he has, I wouldn't do that with someone. So I was done with like people I was just kind of talking to or whatever. So you're saying like if the girl would have a caliber man that she would almost like let him.
It wouldn't even be a let. It would be like, okay, it would be looking the other way is what it would end up being. And that's throughout history, that's been the way it is.
The argument is this: like throughout history, King Solomon had 800 wives. Any Russian oligarch, no one possibly
emperors of China and the Forbidden City. I said it
emperors
first.
of China. No one thinks that Russian oligarchs are faithful to their wives. Every mob boss throughout history, like when we talk about these extremely high power, John F. Kennedy, whatever. They would sleep with multiple women, and no one would blink an eye. Like it wasn't a big deal that Marilyn Monroe would literally come to the residence and have sexual intercourse with John F. Kennedy while Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy was there. No one cared. It was that kind of situation. So there is a level, at least history has showed us, there is a level to which something like 1% of men in the East, in East Asia, have a Y chromosome that matches Genghis Khan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he has like the highest amount of like.
Correct. Yeah, the offspring from that. So when you think about that situation, it's like should men cheat? That's the first question.
Should no.
have they cheated? Yes, that's essentially what's happened. When we got to throughout history. There's been very few examples where that hasn't happened. When men had the option to do so, that they did that thing because they were high status. So while you guys are correctly stating, "Hey, listen, I don't think a man is high enough status for me to cheat" or whatever, you guys all know dudes who are super famous.
That's what I'm saying, though. This should cheat. The phrasing is just.
Now it's a moral question.
Yeah, like should cheat, or like you said, or should you let him have threesomes?
Now it's a practice. Yes. Well, I was going to say, just to tag on the end of that, it's like throughout history, 3 things have defined a high value man. So here I'm going to answer you guys, chat. It is resources, it is territory, and it is exclusive access to beautiful, fertile, virginic women to make sure that his DNA goes off into prosperity, right? So those are the 3 you want. That's nuts and bolts. Distill it down to its most basic. It's territory. How much property does he have? What kind of shit does he have? Status is a part of that. Don't get me wrong. Money, that's the resources part. Territory is what has he got, and is he the kind of guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck? If he's that guy, then yeah, he's probably a high value guy. Should he cheat? And I'm going to say no, he shouldn't.
Of course not.
Because here's why I'm saying that. Don't have a main. If you want to have a main and side chicks, and the reason why I'm saying that is because women's sexual market value decays with age. So if you have the main and you're not going to get with that, you're not a ride or die guy for that woman, don't do that. Just play the field. Just fuck a lot of. If you want to spin plates. But don't spin plates with a chick who's like, well, maybe if I wait him out, then he'll be, and as she's waiting you out and you're trying to figure out whether or not you want to have kids with this person, she's your queen and all the rest of these bitches are hoes. If you're not the queen and he's still fucking hoes, then what happens is day by day, your sexual market value decays to the point where you are less valuable on the sexual market, on the second marketplace, and he's on to the chick that, you get left for one of the hoes. Don't fucking do that. If you're going to play the field, play the field. If you're going to be monogamous, be monogamous. Fucking pull a fucking trigger.
Hey, Brady, one other thing. I don't have threesomes. We have threesomes. Get the terminology correct. You don't let your man have threesomes. You guys have threesomes together. That's the way it works. Okay,
I've heard that. Okay.
Well, when I say let, because there are girls that don't actually enjoy threesomes, but they do it to please their man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I right in my assumption about this? That if you're gonna have threesomes, it's better if the girls think of it, and you're not going, "Hey, come on."
Right.
For sure.
Do you think she's hot? Like you're trying to set it up.
Yeah,
it's better
it's like,
if they set it up and you're
desperate for another chick. Like, what's your deal?
It comes out. You will have it if it seems like it's their idea and not yours. Am I correct?
Beautiful.
Yes.
Here we go. Next one is from Cypher Life. If heart problems are in my family, is TRT a no-go? Cypher Life, you need to talk to a doctor about that. If you're young, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. It has to do in that they can measure your hemoglobin levels throughout your experience. So if you want to go get that tested, the thing is, consult a doctor. Don't consult me because I don't know your history. The next one by Excel Self. Thanks, Rollo, for explaining it. If you base your worth on someone else's, then can you take your worth, then they can take your worth from you. Cypher Life one more time with $15. Love your work.
Exactly why I don't do templates and I don't do prescriptions.
$15 from Cypher Life on mine. Love your work. Read all 5 of your books. Rollo and Michael, you have changed my life. Love your show.
sorry.
Put that anywhere.
Put that wherever you want. Show brothers helped me be a better. I'm assuming he says be a better man. Awesome, guys. All right, I got through my super chats.
Did I miss any, Trav? I think I
no.
might have missed. Did I miss any of the yellow ones? I don't know. I don't think I did.
Check. Give me a second. Let me refresh here.
Oh, here we go. Ed View says, classic money, looks, or status debate. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah. Is that the last one? Okay, cool. Got it. All right.
Can I bring up a topic?
Yes.
Yeah, rock and roll.
AI deep fake porn.
You're in. Oh, boy.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
I don't know if we can show pictures of that.
No, you can't. You can't really.
The AI
You know
or the
what it
virtual
looks like.
reality one?
Yes.
Well, the virtual reality, I don't think is going to take off as much because you got to put a fucking thing on your head. It's just intrusive and it makes people nauseous.
Women are losing their minds, though.
I think the deep fake stuff will work because you're going to have like a passable image of any woman you can imagine. If in fact there's
Wait, what is it exactly? It's like a robot sex doll.
No.
It's
Okay.
AI generated
No.
images.
So basically, have you seen how FaceApp can change your face,
Yeah.
right? They can put a face on there. What they're going to do is start literally putting your face on any pornographic body they want,
And now
then
they're watching you.
and now they're watching you have sex with anyone they want without paying you any royalties. That's essentially what's happening.
Who else is talking about this except for Access?
No way to
I
get
saw
away with that
the
legally.
robot.
No. So what
I
they're
didn't
doing
see about
instead is they're
this.
making faces of women who don't exist.
Yes.
They literally don't exist, and they're giving them bodies that are amalgamations of other porn stars, and then you're watching these women have sex on camera, and the whole thing it doesn't look like Annabelle.
I can't put it on the screen.
It looks
but I'll
so
show you
real,
some.
but the thing is, we're just in the infancy. It's just going to get better and better to the point where like people won't even go look on porn sites to watch porn stars anymore. They're literally going to look at just like perfect people on there.
Well, the
and not
reason
be able to
people
tell the
came
difference.
from OnlyFans from Pornhub is because it's way more personal. And you're an
Agreed.
actual person
Agreed.
that exists, and they're your fan. That's why
Agreed.
it's OnlyFans.
But still, some people do watch porn because they see something they find
Oh, yeah.
attractive. That's a different area. And still, Brandy, some people do watch you because
This
they find
is-
you attractive.
That's AI generated.
That's
those
insane.
people don't exist. These
Yeah.
are just fake.
They are
And it's just
computer
gonna get
like
better.
synthesis
Let me
of.
see real quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
those-
Right, but then the
Yeah, if
guy
you
who
like
wants
Asians,
the
there's
girlfriend
your things.
experience, that
Of course,
doesn't
agree.
That's one.
Okay,
But
but
I'm
what
saying-
if they start doing it like they take it and they put your
It's
face
that
and then
Asian
they're like,
one.
oh, I can get her to do. Oh
So
my
just
gosh.
push it forward like
I'm
that.
just not-
Just push it forward.
I'll just look
Okay,
at her.
so here's the thing. There's a Coconut Kitty 143. She puts a 12-year-old face on her body.
I've
She has like
seen
a
that.
porn star body.
Yeah.
And she fucking she snatches her
That's
waist.
AI faked.
And so she does that. And,
That's the
and
girl
now
I was talking about.
No, this
Oh,
is AI fake.
Yeah, that's not a that's not a real human.
This girl does not exist.
So she's actually been able to do some video like that. That's what's so crazy. But she has to hold it in a certain way because she's using FaceApp in order to use
Yeah.
the 12-year-old filter. It's scary how far this is going to go with the deepfake. Right now, if you look closely, you can tell when something's deepfake. But if dudes are not going to care after a while, I'm telling you, they're not going to care.
Yeah, and that's the main conversation going on right now with the deep fake and stuff like that. Is they're like, well, look at her fingers. Like the one thing about AI is like if you look at their fingers, they have like 10 fingers. Or
Yeah.
because AI has not been able. Yeah, or there's like or folds in the skin and or they're like twisted around and they're looking like this and it's actually
Guys
a chest
aren't
in the back
paying
and stuff.
attention to that
Yeah.
stuff when they're watching porn.
Exactly. That's what I said. So what
No
they're
guy's
saying
watching
is
this girl
they
masturbate. It's
don't.
like, oh my God, her fingers.
They don't
Like-
care. They just go, oh, that's a good one. Next image, to the on and on and on. And so, of course, have you ever watched Westworld?
Of course.
Yes.
It's on Westworld. They're
yes.
saying if you can't tell the difference, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Exactly.
Does it? Okay, so chat, does it matter?
Can I bring up a
That was the
secondary
one with,
thought about this?
Go ahead, boss.
Sure.
So what you guys are talking
Rachel.
about is AI
yeah.
generated
It's like a
deepfake
little
porn, but there's actually going beyond where you take a real life video
Yeah.
of a porn star,
Mm-hmm.
and then your friend, in this case Pokimane, which is a popular Twitch streamer, one of her friends was found to have a tab open with Pokimane deepfake porn on his tab, his screen. So he was looking it up, or you found it, or whatever. Now the question is it weird, or what is the moral suggestion of you putting your friend or discovering your friend's face on porn.
Oh, I see what
so
you're
how does
saying.
that dynamic
So
work?
you can
Is it
have
cheating?
it's the ultimate fantasy. You take your crush and you put her face on
That's
like
what I was like. That's what I was alluding to.
Yeah.
Oh, but
You know how many dudes we probably know personally that are subscribed to our OnlyFans, and we don't know.
You know
that
how
they're
many?
there?
You know how many like Photoshop manips there are of like Emma Watson, like in like reverse cowgirl.
Right.
There's always
Already,
guys
yeah, I
that
saw
are
one of
friends
Miley
that are
Cyrus.
subscribed. It's the same concept that are watching us and no one knows.
yeah, by the way,
Madison is
shout out to all the
different,
guys who are on OnlyFans with their real name. I've heard this. Girls have
That's
told me this.
bull.
Crazy. You
I
guys
don't
are,
think they know because there's a
yes,
way
that's exactly right. They
to
don't know.
do the name and the username, and I
They're
think
using their real photo and their real name. So like
Photo. You did
you
that
know
on
if you did
purpose.
that. You're not that
It's
always
stupid.
like
no
a-
one is that
yeah.
You can't
stupid.
do that. You
Yeah.
can't do that, guys. You can't.
When I figure out
tell
who
them
it
that.
is, it like messes it up for me. Like I know certain people they've told me on Instagram like I'm on your OnlyFans and I'm like just don't let me know who you are.
Well, the way
Just
it
don't.
is you have to enter your name to subscribe to the site. Like you have to put your name
Yeah.
in, and then you have to change your username. It'll assign you like user whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
And they think that when they change that, it's just for OnlyFans
Yeah.
to see, and we can. So the guys who we can see their real name don't know that we can see it.
Dude, the thing with like Andy Candy told me one time, she goes, yeah, because she worked at the Pentagon at this point, and she's like, and she's also doing OnlyFans, and she was like, yeah, blah blah blah, and then she saw that a person that she knew was following her, and it was her brother's best friend or her brother's boss. And then she could tell by the name. He didn't know that she could see it. Then so she's calling her brother to tell, hey, you know, your boss is following me on fucking.
I have a
OnlyFans."
story for that.
We were bottle. Well, I can't say where, but I was when I first started my OnlyFans, and a couple of the other bottle girls did with me at a club we were at. All like 3 of our managers went and subscribed to our pages, and we could see their name clear as day, and they didn't know that we knew.
What was the story you said, Lucy?
Okay, mine was who I was dating. I figured out that their cousin was on my OnlyFans, and
Yeah.
that's why I had to stop OnlyFans for a while. I had to choose. I was forced to choose the relationship with
block them?
OnlyFans. No, I did block them, but I figured out it was them because like where they're from, there's a really like specific like vernacular that they use, like slang and stuff. And I was like, okay, I know who this is. I'm putting 2 and 2 together, and then they wanted me to know that it was them, and it was actually the person I was dating's cousin who was like super admired them and has been around my child and all this stuff. And I was like, whoa, this is like really crazy. And of course they like died on that hill of I'm lying. But then they recently just changed their name to their real name, thinking that I couldn't see it, and now I can see it. They put
It's
a picture and
madness.
everything.
There's
Isn't
a
it
lot of
Madison?
viral things about girls like and their stepdads subscribing to them.
I was reading a
That's
study.
that's
No, there's
true.
some
Guys,
creepy
let's
stories.
just say, let's go back to the very first thing we were talking about. I don't think you guys truly grasp how desperate men are when you're saying this.
I don't think so either.
And you're like, oh, men have 20 sexual partners. They wish they had 20 sexual partners.
Yeah.
They wish. That's the thing I'm trying to, like, when you sit talking about family members subscribing to your fucking OnlyFans, do you have any idea how, like, desperate men are? That's the thing. This was the whole point of this whole thing, right? Andrew Tate, like him, don't like him, whatever you want to believe about him. He exists for a reason. Why did he exist? Because there was a void of men who were not being represented. Before the election of 2012 or 2008, Barack Obama spoke to African American voters who nobody was speaking to. And before the 2016 election, Donald Trump was speaking to manufacturers, coal miners, people who felt like they weren't being represented. Well, that's what Andrew Tate did. Andrew Tate spoke to a group of men who felt like nobody was listening to
Right
them.
niche,
representing them.
right time,
Exactly.
right message.
And he grew in fame faster
American
than any
way.
person, period, ever in history. No one has ever gotten more famous faster than Andrew Tate did in the shortest amount of time. He was Googled more than the word recession. He was Googled more than Donald Trump and Kim Kardashian
Yeah. I didn't
combined.
know that.
He
I know
had
that. I thought
12.
Jake Paul was the
he had
fastest.
no.
Wow.
Jake Paul took years.
Way past.
Now you know why they hate each
In,
other.
in 6 months, he had more Google searches than anyone else, and he had 12 billion individual mentions of his name on TikTok. 12 billion. It's not even, Jake Paul wasn't even close to that. So he became, and this all happened in a 6-month period. He became famous faster than anyone in history.
What year did he get famous? Like
Last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
May of 2022.
So, yeah,
He's been around for forever. Let me clarify so people don't like throw shit at me. I've been friends with, we've been friends with Andrew for a long time. I've known Andrew since like 2015. But he did not become Andrew Tate until right around like April or May of last year, and that's when he exploded. So
was there like one? I haven't really looked into him at all. Like, is
yeah, well,
was there one moment that was just, like, the big moment?
I don't know.
It wasn't a big moment. What he did was affiliates.
He gamed the YouTube.
You guys know how on OnlyFans you can have an affiliate link, so if some other girl joins, you get like a part of her proceeds for the first couple months or whatever. He was doing that except selling a course, and the way it worked is like he would give away like 80-90% of the subscription.
Viral affiliate marketing.
Yeah, so by the way, I do the same thing for my course. I give
Hell
away,
yeah, I would do it.
Yeah, I give away. So if someone signs up for my course using like Rollo's affiliate code on his link, he gets 10%.
Yes, use it. It's in mine right now.
Yeah, it's in his right now. It's on mine as well. So that's the way it works. So what happens is people now start creating accounts called Sartain Shorts, Michael Sartain Clips. They start doing all these clip channels of my Instagram. Even when I'm shadow banned, they keep showing up, and so I look on there and I get like, I don't have that big of a following, but I'm getting like 6 million impressions a month for my name, even though I only have less than 100,000 followers. That's the way it works. So that's essentially what he did. But he did it on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram all at the same time, and he had like tens of thousands of affiliates that were doing this. So his brand awareness grew faster than anyone in history.
Okay,
that's essentially
it was exponential affiliate viral.
Because
marketing.
if you created an account for him, your account gained 100,000 followers like that. People were creating Andrew Tate accounts to grow their followers, then switching them to different things and selling the account.
And again, that's the reason why I think Andrew should be notable is because he is a genius at that shit. Because essentially he gamed the YouTube algorithm by playing by their rules. He didn't break any rules. He didn't. When they canceled him, they should not have canceled him for terms of service. He did everything by the book. It's just that he was too successful at the rule set that they had set forth for people. It's the same thing with the short squeeze with AMC theater stock and GameStop stock back in 2021. I got one more for you here real quick. Okay, so we were just talking about AI generated porn, and then you put your girlfriend's face or your crush's face, and then you can whack off to that. Bravo. Thank science. All right. That's what we're going to use all this stuff for. But I had another guy in here saying, so do you think that is going to be some way to challenge, like, say, sex bots in the future? Of course, that's a big deal for, like, black pill doomers and the more extreme end of MGTOW. They want to in some way say that, well, the future is going to be sex bots. And I'm like, well, because right now we have, like real dolls, and guys get, like, sort of, like, real, I don't know. It's kind of a little strange to me, but I kind of understand why. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I understand why that obsession exists, or the girlfriend experience exists, because they want to believe that somebody actually gives a shit about them, but they also want to get off. So is it enough to have virtual, like, immersive, like, live action with maybe a haptic vest or something like that, porn and virtual reality porn, or will it be actual real mechanical in real life sex bots that are going to revolutionize the industry? And I will say it's going to be the virtual experience.
It will be the first and then the second. Once we get to a point where you have virtual sex bots, you're going to have, like, kids growing up, going through puberty, having sex with a sex bot and never having any interest in an actual woman. An actual woman fights back, an actual woman talks back, an actual woman makes it difficult, an actual woman has mood swings, an actual woman isn't perfect, an actual woman has breakouts, an actual woman doesn't want to have sex all the time.
But that's why the top search is reality.
No. What I'm saying is, hold on. What I'm saying is, when there's an android sex robot that you can't tell is not a human being and is willing to have sex with your 18-year-old son, your 18-year-old son will never develop the skills to talk to real women. He'll go out, he'll meet a real woman, the real woman will be
they're already there.
That
That's
it could
exactly
ever
right.
be replaced, though.
Huh?
Because I also know, like, a lot of, like, older, richer men that don't even want sexual experiences. They just want connection and, like, a friend or, like,
For sure.
companionship. I don't think an AI can do that.
It's
the
all
same way.
data input. This is something that's entirely fascinating too. If you ever go into what's a soul, or what's defined as a soul, and if whether or not you could transplant your brain and yada yada, right? But all AI is data input. So the more you feed it, the more it can become realistic, right? So at some point they can become a companion. At some point,
they can teach themselves, they evolve.
Exactly. At some point, they can give you the mood swing. If you want them to talk back to you, we can give you that.
If you can't tell the difference, does it make any
sense? At some point, machine learning, the brain that the machine learning is learning in is greater than yours.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to tell the difference.
No, I know.
That's why
Elon Musk has
computers
already, like,
are-
expressed his concerns with AI.
Because it doesn't forget. It continues to evolve. It never stops learning.
One of my strip club customers, he showed me this Instagram of a AI doll, but she's
Naomi
not
or
real.
something?
I don't know what it was,
find
and it
her.
was really strange because he
I know
was
who you're talking
like,
about.
you know, when you followed it, like I followed it, and then started having like an automated like conversation, and he was like, yeah, look, she like talks to you, and I'm like, it's not real. But he was already imagining that it was real, and she looked very close too.
It's a Turing test, is what it is.
Well,
It's
ChatGPT, like
Yeah.
ChatGPT right
the
now.
thing about
is,
ChatGPT is because there's so many independent inputs
that
into
one, yeah.
ChatGPT, it's getting smarter and smarter.
It is.
Like that's
Once it becomes I don't want to say self-aware, but once it becomes to the point where it understands how to get around what you're expecting of it, once it can actually, let's say, not innovate, but like imagine what you're going to anticipate, what you're going to say before you say it, and it gives it to you on demand, and it's so convincing, that's when we're going to be fucked. But
We're
I
a
will
long
tell you
ways
this:
away from that. Nobody
we
can.
are, and I'll tell you why we're a long way away from it, because we can't get over our fucking selves. That's why. Because if you go on ChatGPT or AI or what's
Not
what's
that
Open AI right
It's
now,
another
and you
one.
say,
Yeah,
and by the
there's
way,
another
yes, I saw the meme, so I'm just going to tell you right now. If you say ChatGPT, tell me a joke about women, right? Oh, I can't do that. I can't give you I can't talk about marginalized individuals. Blah. I'm not programmed to do that. Like some coder said, you will not make jokes about women at all. Okay, ChatGPT, make a joke about guys. It's like laundry list of
It really
jokes
just depends
about
on your
dudes.
data input. That's the thing,
Yeah.
right? Is like if you talk about facial recognition right now, there's a huge lapse in that when it comes to ethnicity alone, right? Because the scientists and people that have the funding to research this are just pumping it full of Caucasian features, and so that so long as the data input doesn't have access to that information, it will never be complete.
There were two. There was one Asian woman, and another Asian woman was able to unlock her phone with the face recognition.
Wow.
It's a particularly
God
bad.
damn.
Look up the story if you guys don't believe me. It's like we're like super crazy that this was happening. But no, that's definitely.
Well, I was going to say, so what
possibility.
the fundamental flaw of AI right now is is us. It's humans' influence on it that's going to fuck it up. Now, we're close to time, but I'm going to where'd it go? In that book right there in the
So what's going to
introduction.
happen to like reproduction if everyone's
what I
falling
talk-
in love with robots?
What does it matter? There's 8 billion of us.
already
So this is
declined.
this is
Well,
another.
now we have funding for pods outside
Incels
of
are gonna go
external-
extinct.
That's a whole
That's
other
what's
thing.
This is the thing that just drives me, because people always ask this question and forget there's 8 billion people. In the book of Genesis, it says, "Go forth and multiply." When that person wrote those words, there were 50 million people on the fucking planet 3,000 years ago. Okay, there were points before that where there were 60,000 people. Once we had the advent at the beginning of 1900, there were 1 billion people on the planet. In the year 2000, there were 7 or 6.5 billion people on the planet. There are 400,000 elephants left on this planet. There used to be like 60 million. We won.
Have you not seen the articles though about because of the overpopulation, people are becoming infertile?
Well, that may be, but we're not going extinct. Overpopulation, by definition, is not extinction. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if you go to Indonesia, they're not having trouble with a birth rate in Indonesia. They're not having trouble with one in Africa. They're not having trouble with one in Mexico. They're having trouble with one in Southern California, where Elon Musk lives, and he doesn't want his type of people to be outpopulated. So that's why he's saying we need to have more kids.
Catherine, David Jones really likes you. She says, "Girl, thanks for the $5." He says, "Girl in a green dress." Is on it. AI bot that can cook, clean themselves and the house and hold conversations is the end of many men chasing women.
I have 3 of those. They're called cats. They can clean themselves.
Well, let me just finish off real quick here. In the introduction of my 4th book, when I was talking about how our ideology and how our memes. So I remember you read Ape That Understand the Universe.
Yes,
so you
I
know
did.
the part about meme warfare and meme evolution that's
Sure.
in there. So it's basically ideas and thoughts and stuff and how they evolve. Well, one of the things that's going to kind of set the stage for the next, I would say probably the next 100 years, maybe next 2 centuries, is going to be the decisions we make today based on our ideologies today will have a lasting impact on like 4, 5, 6 generations from now in a way we can't even imagine possible because of technology. The example I use in my book is genetic manipulation. So it's like it's called like unnatural selection, right? Where we can do it's CRISPR technology, mRNA, that was it gene engines, and so we can basically do gene editing right now. So we're
doing external incubation. So when you were worried about like what's going to happen when we can't reproduce, we're doing that externally. We're working on that science presently and utilizing CRISPR.
Well, if you want blue eyes in your kid, you want a girl, you want whatever, we will effectively eliminate.
Most likely only Oh, sorry. That most likely only the super rich people are going to be able to afford to repopulate.
But that's how phones work too. It's just going to be temporary. So like when you consider something that has to do with artificial intelligence, it's one of these things where the cost effectiveness or the economies of scale like are going to go through the roof. The technology in front of me on this iPhone, this is literally billions of dollars of R&D, but I get to have this phone for however much my AT&T plan will allow me to have it for. Eventually, yes, the super rich will have it, but eventually it won't be like that. Airline flight, commercial flight on airlines was like that for a while, and then it became affordable for everyone. It's $91 for me to fly here from fucking Houston last night. So it's like,
but there's a serious population she's referencing that will never have that technology.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be reserved for the rich for in the beginning. But I was going to say this is that if we can eliminate Down syndrome, which is a genetic disorder, should we do it? If we can, should we?
As a technologist, the answer to me is yes.
Is yes. Okay. Now, okay. Next question: if homosexuality is a genetic well, I'm born this way. If it's a genetic thing, and we can edit it out using CRISPR, or we can edit it out using gene editing, should we?
From a societal level, no. Individual parents will absolutely do that. Because parents are usually heterosexual and will choose to say, well, I don't want my child to go through this level of criticism.
Last question.
You're also going to have African-American parents choosing to have lighter-skinned children, too. That's another thing you're going to see happen. Okay. There's horrible questions you have to ask when we get into this.
I'm wearing glasses right now. If I can gene edit my eyes to have perfect 20/20 vision, should I do that?
As a blind person, almost.
Okay. Yes. Now, why is that ethical? And editing genes from a homosexual who would otherwise be homosexual.
You're equating a disability with a sexuality.
I am, because but you're still you're still moving genes around. That's what I'm saying.
Chris, we played God the moment we decided to cure a cold.
Oh, when we breed dogs, we're playing God. So
we can't cure a cold. But yes, I understand.
So anyways, just to put a period at the end of this, the decisions the answers we have for those questions right now will determine whether or not we'll have homosexuals, we'll have Down syndrome kids, we'll have only blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids, or we'll only have whatever is popular right now because we feel like this is where we ought to be and this is what's right. We want to be on the right side of history. Therefore, we're going to edit all of our genes, and we're going to have blue eyes, blonde-haired kids, or we're going to have dark-haired kids, or whatever it is, and we're going to go forward. And that's best. That's what we think is best now. So that's what you get in the future.
Here's the crazy thing that happened. So I don't know. In 1957, the transistor was invented. I forgot what the doctor's name is, but the guy was a horrible eugenicist. I don't know if you've heard this story. So he invents the transistor, which is why we have all this and cell phones and where we don't have those green cathode tube rays, whatever anymore. That's what the transistor was able to give us. Anyway, same time, he's a horrible eugenicist. If we do this, people like him and Hitler eventually won. Do you guys not see that? Mm-hmm. What did Hitler do? He took all of the people who were sick and all the people who were lame and threw them in the concentration camps. He was looking for purity of one genetic spectrum. He won if we do. That's the part that is scariest about this.
I was going to say
that's one of the scariest.
Day in 2023.
When we get it, because that is eugenics. Once we get to this level of eugenics, that's essentially what we've done. We have gone and pushed forth the idea of the National Socialist Party of Germany. That's what we did, and that's what makes it so scary. And on a societal level, we'll be like, no, I won't do this. And then you'll find out, hey, do you want your kids to have blue eyes or brown eyes? And they'll be like, blue. Well, what did you just?
There's so much to unpack here.
What did you just do, though?
Sorry, I just get to the good shit now at the end. I was gonna. People laugh at shows that science fiction writers today laugh at shows like Star Trek where they have Uhura and they got a Chekhov and they've got a Sulu and they've got different nationalities all represented on the Starship Enterprise. Well, actually, in the future, they would all look the same. They would all be the same uniform color. They would be like a nice mocha, and their eyes would be whatever the predominant.
They look like Jesus Christ.
Is.
They would all look like Jesus.
No, because by that far in the future, as far as like globalization and everything else, going the way we're going right now, we would all look the same.
Right. And you want to start talking about our mortality in general. How about the fact that later on down the road, we've already done a head transplant. I don't know if you guys know this. Back in 1970, it was a big thing. Really? Yeah. Yep. I need one. It was done by, he's also known as Mr. Humble, self-appointed, but and Dr. Butcher. So that happened back in the 70s. And it's possible. We can do it. The problem is you sever the spinal cord, and so when you transfer this brain over, you become a quadriplegic, right? So you won't be able to move the body. However, that being said, you can have working organs, so the mind can keep going, right? So where does your soul live? So this being said, this technology exists. What if you can transfer your brain into a robot, right? Or the body of your dreams?
Oh shit.
So this question is asked in the book. The Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil, and what he does is he asks this question. So what happens is you have some prefrontal lobe damage because of a car accident. So we replace your prefrontal lobe, but the rest of your brain is yours. And then you have a problem where you have this phobia and you have like extreme fear of something. So they replace your amygdala with a chip. But 98% of your brain is still yours. Eventually, we keep replacing different parts of your brain. At what point did you die?
Right. Well, there's no actual medical definition of death. It's only defined legally, right?
Yes.
And only in the United States. It differs per what country you're in. So that's a whole other thing, because in the medical field, death is not defined. So that's a whole other thing, right? Is when did the person die? And when you start transferring brains, there's hormones, there's things that dictate how you feel about a situation, right? And that defines you as a person. So when you remove a brain from a body, are you still the same person as it starts getting influenced by other organs, by it
what is that book that you said?
The Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil. He's got a new book coming out this year. Anybody want to guess what it's called?
No.
The Singularity is Nearer.
Here.
Yes. To your point, Brandy, what's happened is there's another thing that's going to happen. So when we create life, now we have a sperm that goes into an egg, and then that creates a zygote. And then from that, we get a genetic code that is 23 alleles from the mother, 23 from the father, which creates 23 chromosomes. Now, what would happen, though, if I could just literally take one strand of DNA and then do that, and then create a zygote from literally two, like, again, you can't have children now because of your ablation, but we could just take your DNA and combine it with another person's DNA, their 23 chromosomes. But what if that other person was also a woman? That is also a reality that could happen. You could have children, legitimately male children, born with two female lines of chromosomes.
We win.
That's what it talks about at the end of the book. The end of the book. The end of the book, though, Singularity Nears, it talks about two like fatal things that'll happen. Number one, men will be addicted to having sex with dolls, and number two, women will start having children with other women. And the two species, male and female, will bifurcate. That's what it talks about at the end of the book. It's crazy. Guys should read it. So,
I got to get through these because we're at 11:08, and I need to take some ayahuasca after this conversation.
Scary out there.
The movie, thanks Rizzo. The movie Demolition Man nailed the future in that we are going towards AI sex. Then grown children are based on what we want. Thoughts on that? I would actually, a better movie, Gattaca. If you haven't seen Gattaca, it's all about genetic manipulation. And then Caleb says, Rollo, could you explain why you don't agree with Dr. David Buss on his change of mind from dualistic mating to the mate switching hypothesis? I would be glad to with this man right here, because I'm trying to get a one-on-one with him so we can talk about exactly that topic.
Beautiful.
And somebody had a Black Pill Doomer tweet that I missed. Sorry, brother, man. It slipped past me. Anyways, that's it. Anything you have? One more,
dude. This was great. No, I'm really happy to have you guys in here.
Fantastic,
I'm trying to get more and more people in here. Thank you for coming out here, Brandy. I hope you guys had a good time.
Definitely.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Guys. All right, now where can we find everybody? Brandy, where can we find you? Online.
Brandy V Andrews. Brandy V Andrews everywhere.
You cannot miss her account.
Okay, Lucy, where can we find you?
I don't know which camera, but UC Lucy on Instagram, UC Lucy on YouTube, and did UC Lucy on TikTok.
Wait, hold on. And Lucy, what's your YouTube about?
My YouTube's a mental health channel.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's all about mental health awareness. I'm getting personal in some of my videos and hoping to help people and others.
Very cool. I got some guests you should definitely have on.
I would love to.
For sure. Catherine.
Ooh, I'm not really on a lot of social media. I'm working on a couple films, so hopefully you'll see that. And if you want to catch me in Vegas, start smoking cigars.
It's so incredible. Like she's like a working actress with like no Instagram. It's
we got to put you in touch with Kevin Savo and the Savo brothers. Yeah.
Very nice.
They're independent filmmakers.
Olivia Bertani, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Olivia Bertoni, Burton with an I at the end. Makes me sound like a pasta dish.
Yeah? Okay, nice. Very cool. Domo.
And you could find me at Domo Monster 7, or if you want my spicy page, Onyx Muse XO. And I have a podcast too, Green Room Radio, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple.
For sure, guys. Everybody, you need to follow all of these people, or I will unfollow you. Travis, where can we find you? Where's your OnlyFans? Travis, you're doing 3 nights.
Close-up pictures of buttholes only.
That's it.
That's my butthole.
$3.99 for the rest of the month.
Do you do butthole ratings though? Like, do they send you a butthole shot and you say, you know what, $20, brother?
You know what? I'll do anything for $20. You know,
$20?
Yeah,
$20.
Guys, you can find me on everything at Travis Flesher. I'm Sticky Paws Studios. I'm funny. We have a Sticky podcast. Rollo is actually going to be on the podcast next Tuesday at 5 p.m. live.
I'm in Vegas for so long.
Look out for that stuff. He's going to post links all the time, and it's going to be a funny show.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well,
anybody else? Well, do we hit everybody?
Beautiful.
I got to talk about tomorrow with myself. So 4:30 to 6:30. You're going to join us too.
What are we doing?
It'll be myself, John from Modern Life Dating. We will have Aaron Clay. It'll almost be like a mini rule zero. It's your first rule zero.
So
right?
what time is this?
So it'll be 4:30 to 6:30. We have a hard out at 7. Yes, George, I got your message. It'll be myself, John from Modern Life Dating, Aaron Clary, Mike, and we have Red Pill Thor coming in, and possibly Glenn Lawrence, who I saw in the chat here. So it might be 5 or 6 of us, but we're going to have a round table of guys.
Okay, awesome.
It'll be a mini rule zero.
For those of you guys who are subscribed to Michael Sartain podcast, there was no podcast this week because I did Purple Pill podcast on Monday, and then I had Sex Lies and Lawyers that came out on Tuesday, so I want you guys to check that out along with this, and then along with apparently the shit that I'm doing tomorrow. You guys have 12 hours of shit to watch with me this week. Next week, my guest is, it's BJ Baldwin, who talks about an incredible experience. He's an 8-time motocross champion, and he shot a guy in the face at 75 feet and killed him, and he did it protecting his girlfriend's life. It's a fucking unbelievable story. He shot him with a pistol at 75 feet.
Amazing.
It's an amazing freaking story. We recorded that. That's going to come out next Wednesday. And then for those of you who guys are going to the Super Bowl in Scottsdale, I'm hosting a party for Babes and Ballers, and I'm probably working the party for Maximum there also. So you guys hit me up if you guys are interested to come. I
might tag along to one of those.
Yeah.
Hey, David Jones, I got your super chat. I will tell you what, since we're not going to get to it right now, ask it tomorrow during the panel with Mara Left Jane, or the tomorrow show, 4:30 to 6:30. That's Pacific times, not Eastern time. I'll promise you I'll answer that tomorrow.
Okay, man. Yep. Thank you again. Thank you guys for coming out here. I know this is like a different kind of format. Hopefully we have all of you back at some point in the future. We want to do this forever. The show is blowing up like crazy. Man, I think we have like 4 or 5 clips right now that have over 1 million views on YouTube. So it's really blowing up. I had 18,000 subscribers. Now I have 47,000 subscribers out of fucking nowhere. So this show has been really, really incredible. So thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Go watch the Dr. Phil show too.
Watch the Dr. Phil show.
Episode 90.
Subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to her channel. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.